got paid. They should be making plays. It's one thing for Patrick Mahomes where the defenses are changing up what they're.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Welcome in, Husker fans. This is the Husker Afterparty postgame show, coming at you live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. The Husker Afterparty postgame show is brought to you by Southeast Community College and Street Drive-In, Lincoln Federal Savings Bank. Now, here is your host, Connor Happer.
All right, welcome in, Husker Afterparty postgame show. As Nebraska loses this afternoon to Ohio State, 26-17, the Huskers fall to 3-7 on this now aging football season. Husker Afterparty postgame show with Connor Happer, Jake Bachov, and brought to you by Southeast Community College and N Street Drive-In. We'd like you guys to participate. 402-464-5685 on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Give us a phone call there and on the Starter Heyman text line. It was tied 0-0 after the first quarter. It was 17-10 at halftime via a couple explosive plays there before the break. Nebraska did enough to hang around in the fourth quarter and have a shot or two at it. We'll dive into everything that happened in those drives, most notably one where Nebraska was down by 6, 23-17. A drive stalls out, and they decide to kick a field goal and not go for it when the kicking game had already been a little suspect. Maybe not a little suspect, extremely suspect.
Yes.
For basically the entire season. That put them at 50-50 on field goals made and missed throughout the entire year. And they never really had a real shot to win the game again. After that, 26-17. Man, Nebraska didn't do much well today, to be honest with you. I mean,
offensively, maybe?
Offensively, yeah. Defensively, they made a couple big plays. Obviously, the 2 turnovers and 2 interceptions are huge. They did a pretty good job of stopping the run. Ohio State, I don't want to cut the air out of this one too much. I don't know what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, especially passing on those final drives.
54 attempts for C.J. Stroud today. You just get the sense that they get bored, with running the ball with their really, really good running back. And, he was running it for about 4 or 5 yards every single time. They were getting great push up front right away to start the game. And they're just like, yeah, I think we'll just take the dink and dunks down the field and we'll try and hit the big play every once in a while. We'll kind of do what we're supposed. I mean, if they would have taken what was given to them today, it could have been maybe over a long time ago. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 15 catches for 240 yards and a touchdown, which is about as good of a day as I can remember against a Nebraska defense.
Except for Troy Edwards. I mean, he's the only one that can laugh at that one.
Yeah, and on the other side, Samori Toure had a 72-yard catch there at the end of the first half. No, that was the one in the second half, I guess. He had a huge one at the end of the first half. 4 catches for 150 and a touchdown as he shows back up this afternoon. Adrian Martinez was hurt. He could not run the ball. And then at halftime, he was magically healed. And then they kind of started to move things on offense a little bit. What a weird afternoon. Really weird afternoon. But ultimately, the bottom line is Nebraska hangs in, but it's not enough. Again, they lose by 9.
Yeah, and that's going to be the bottom line, and we'll talk a lot about that. But first off, hats off to this defense. I mean, they keep them in the game. This is the number one total offense, number one scoring offense in the nation, and to hold them to 26 points and force them in the field goals, just a great job. By the way, that field goal kicker. He's very much of an aim small, miss small type of guy. Noah Ruggles not only made every field goal, but hit it right down the middle into the All-State hands on the nice backdrop there. It was incredibly impressive. And that last one, of course, the 46-yarder pretty much sealed the deal for Nebraska. But a heck of a job from the defense to keep them in that game. The offense did just enough. I mean, you can complain about play calling here and there. but they were outmatched on the offensive line, and
Yeah.
there's only so much you can do in the play calling, part of the game when your offensive line is that outmatched.
I mean, they were living for the big explosive plays.
Yeah.
And it worked a couple times, to be
Oh, yeah.
honest with you. That was the reason they kind of stuck in that game. And then the second half, they were a little bit more conventional with it. Once Adrian felt better, it seemed like, I don't know, cortisone shot maybe
Yeah.
halftime. It's like he looked like he was kind of back to himself after the break there, but then all of a sudden the running game kind of clicked a little bit. Ramir Johnson popped a couple, Adrian popped a couple himself. It was a weird one today for Memorial Stadium, and we want to hear from you guys. 402-464-5685. There's obviously a lot of questions. What does this mean? Ultimately, there maybe had been a thought that Nebraska might be in a position to just pack it in this afternoon. They did not do that. They played close with the number 5 team in the country, and that's no joke. Nebraska doesn't do that very often.
And give credit to the fans for showing up. I know there was a few empty bleacher seats there, but for the most part, still coming out to support the 3-6 team. The environment was great. And Nebraska
They played their butts off, man.
They
did
did
a great job.
And I mean, there's a few guys, JoJo Dome and Samari Toure. Those guys made money today. Those guys are elevated their draft stock. So
JoJo was awesome.
Yeah, this was an impressive game. If you throw out the records, you would be very impressed where Nebraska is as a program. But then again, it's not quite the one possession loss, so you can't put it in there. But I don't know how much better a 9-point loss to this team feels like when you had the chance. And I think I like you. am more frustrated with the play call to go for the field goal with Chase Contreras there.
Yeah.
Some people even on the text line are saying,
it
would have cut it
twice
to
now.
3.
I can't remember what game it was. The Michigan game where they decided to do a very, very similar thing.
Yeah.
They were like, let's kick a field goal down by 6 because we're going to get another shot. Like, first of all, you don't know that you're going to get another shot at it. And Nebraska really didn't have another realistic shot after that. And second of all, your offense is struggling. You have to kind of understand that. I don't know how, if you're Scott Frost, you don't look at the field and say, yeah, man, this is our best chance.
Yeah.
We're at the 15-yard line. Let's just give it a shot right here.
And they had the first down, a missed throw from Adrian to Levi Falk. I mean, it could have got the first down, but it's not like they were being overwhelmed at the time. Like you said, and then you're relying on hitting 2 field goals. Not one person in the stadium thought, hey, this one's definitely going in. Then you're hoping to get another field goal down the stretch. I think with their struggles in the field goal kicking category, yes, it's something that's been holding them back. Yes, again, it held them back today, but you let it hold you back if you send them out there in spots like that. I just thought with that opportunity, you get a touchdown, you get the lead, all the momentum. And if you don't, it's still a 1-possession game. The field goal doesn't change that.
Let's hear from you guys here. 402-464-5685. Connor Happer, Jake Bachhoven with you on the Husker Afterparty postgame show today as Nebraska loses to Ohio State 26-17. Let's go to Paul, who's leading us off this afternoon. Hey, Paul.
Hey, guys. How should I feel right now?
You feel how you want to feel, man. How let it all out.
No, I don't know how to feel. You guys, you really hit it on the head. That's what I was going to say. Is what on God's green earth was Frost doing with those field goals?
That's bad.
I think he was the only person in the state that thought that was a good idea. I mean, my 5-year-old was saying, "What are you doing, kicking field goal right now?" And I don't think she understands the concept of football yet. But like you guys were saying, you got it one handed off to the defense again. They let up here and there, but man, they really held that Stroud, who's been coming on. They really held him back, and the defense is looking great. This same talk week after week of the play calling was bad, the special teams was bad. We could have won, we should have won potentially, and it's just the same talk we're having week in and week out. And I was just watching Illinois just beat Minnesota. So Brett Bielema has now beat 2 top 25 teams, and Penn State was 12 or whatever when they beat them. There's nobody that can convince me that Brett Bielema took over a bigger mess than Frost did. His team was way worse. There's not a chance that you can convince me that Frost's was a bigger mess.
Right. Yeah.
So I said that backwards. Sorry, but
that's okay.
I don't know what you guys are thinking on that, and like I said, I just don't even know how to feel right now, because every time I want to try to start getting back on the Frost train, he just does stuff where I say,
Right.
well, I don't say it, but what are we doing?
Paul, thanks for the call. I will say this. I mean, definitely a choose your narrative game.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whichever way you want to go. I don't really have one that I feel, you know, like I'm on the fence about this entire thing right now. I think it's all up for interpretation still. I thought today's performance was encouraging. Obviously, there was definitely a way where Nebraska could have just laid out there and died today. They took a couple opportunities. Ohio State gave them a couple opportunities. Nebraska, in their true form, gave some of them right back. So that's disappointing. So as there has been in most of the games this year, you look at them, it's like, well, we could pull a couple really, really good things out of there. And also, like, why is this still the way it is? Why is this still the same? I mean, you think about some notable moments in the game on the negative side. A couple really questionable play calls. Yeah, what are you doing kicking field goal there? There was a third down before the half where Adrian was clearly banged up, and it was a big 3rd and I think 6, and they just kind of sprinted him out there. I'm like,
Yeah,
you know,
that wasn't the call probably at the time.
That wasn't right. There was a 6-yard, I think not a 6-yard punt, like a 17-yard punt.
I think it was 13.
Yeah, 13-yard punt, something like that.
The special teams in the offensive line. I mean, regardless of where you are in the Frost debate, there's going to be some changes needed to be made to the staff if they are indeed brought back. And I think the offensive line has just been holding them back too longer to make me think that you'd probably have to do something there. And the special teams, without a doubt, is just a complete mess. One of the worst in the nation. And, you know, could have, I don't know how many games it's cost them this year. It depends on the way you look at it, but certainly could have cost them again today. But I don't want to get too lost in the narrative that, like, Nebraska played bad or got struggled or bad play calling. To play with Ohio State, to play with the number 5 team in the nation, is not just number 5. They're perennial number 5. They're not some team on a hot streak that has been able to win their games. This is an incredible group with some of the best position talent that we've seen in quite some time. It's good for Ohio State considering the type of talent that they had out there. So to be able to, no matter what you do, only lose, be in this game by the end. I know it's happened before, so it's frustrating, but there's plenty of times that we feel a lot better going into the game for Nebraska, and then they go out there and get blown out by Ohio State. So this was good. Only one turnover, very much at the end, so they held on to the ball. They had less penalties than Ohio State. So some of those things that you want to stack up and say are problems in the Frost era have looked better over the last several games. It's just not showing up in the win category, and I can understand that's where it ultimately matters, but just in a phone booth just today to be able to play against Ohio State like this, I don't know how many other teams can keep a game to Ohio State within 10 points around the nation.
Yeah.
Not that many.
Yeah, and we could do the whole, and I've mentioned it a couple of times already. They played hard today. I mean, I don't want to go too far with that. That's just what I expect. Like, you know, we got to hold a team to a standard every single week, and you should do this as a fan too. What do you want them to be? Yeah. They have their flaws, whether it's personnel wise, whether it's coaching wise, what they have at quarterback, whatever it might be. But whatever team shows up, whatever players you have in the scarlet uniforms that day, they better play hard. And they did. And that's a good thing for Nebraska. I'm glad that they didn't roll over. And I didn't think they would. I didn't think they had it in their DNA. The defense played well enough. They were opportunistic. We mentioned that as a thing. I mean, you think back to, I think the game plan for the Oklahoma game was a pretty similar kind of path for Nebraska to try and win this game. And I thought they had a couple chances at picks early, missed them, got one back, got another back. And that's your formula. That's what you're going to have to do today. You're going to have to be a little bit more opportunistic.
CJ had 3 interceptions going into this game, and Nebraska got 2 of them. Like you said, probably could have had a few more. But, that's something that defenses haven't been able to do. So, I mean, and again, I know the defense has maybe not been overly impressive the last couple of weeks, but throughout the year, they've been able to rely on this black shirt defense, and they're the only reason Nebraska was in this game again. And just a great job from Eric Shenander and all those guys on the defensive side of the ball to keep this one close. There's no going back and saying, oh, well, Oklahoma didn't have their best quarterback out there. This is an incredible Ohio State team, and Nebraska's defense did a great job against them.
They're going to be 2 wins away from the playoffs. They got to beat Michigan State. They got to win the Big Ten championship. Well, they got to beat Michigan.
Michigan.
Beat Michigan again. I don't have,
It's been about 15, 14 years. Still.
Something about that game,
Yeah.
where I don't really count it. They look like they could be a playoff team.
Yeah,
they control their own destiny to get there, I should say. Okay, Husker After Party post game show here on 93.7 The Ticket, brought to you by Southeast Community College and N Street Drive-In. Connor Happer, Jake Bachhoven with you. We're running up against the top of the hour here, so we got to take a break here real quick. We'll come back very quickly on the other side. We'll get to Brian and Ryan. Brian, then Ryan. And there's still room for you guys at 402-464-5685. We'll hear from Scott Frost as well. All of that on the other side next.
Welcome back, Husker fans. Eustace Body Shop is happy to welcome the best fans in college football back to Lincoln. With gold-class certified service, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop can call the right place to keep you in the game. Whether it's in Lincoln at 88th and Highway 2 or at any of our other 5 locations across Nebraska, Eustace Body Shop can help get you back on the road. Go Big Red.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, sewer and water underground repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. That's Select Plumbing at 402-560-6197.
Tom and Bach.
Nebraska, they have a 17% chance to beat Ohio State.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. All those computer models are predictors. I don't know where they get them. It's just some guy that they ask down the hallway. Hey, Sam, how much of a chance does Nebraska have to win this week? 17%.
I think they just dust off the old BCS computer and reboot it. See what kind of numbers it spits out.
Yeah, it's not doing anything.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back to the Husker After Party postgame show. Brought to you by Southeast Community College on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ultimately, another afternoon of missed opportunities today for Nebraska. They hold Ohio State, one of the top offenses in the country, to 26 points, but aren't able to get over the hump offensively, dropping 17. I thought the offense would probably cap out around 17 today. Just didn't think they'd be able to hold Ohio State down to 26. They did a good job. Think about it this way. Parker Gabriel just tweeted this out. Said, I mean, it's a season in perspective. We're going to get back to the phones here in a second on the Husker After Party postgame show. Nebraska held Ohio State to 26 and Oklahoma to 23. You know?
Yeah.
And while, you know, if you would have told me that before the year, I'd have been like, whoa, they're going to have a chance to beat 2 top 10 teams here. They beat neither of them. So, once again, another choose your narrative kind of experience this afternoon.
Yeah, and again, it drops you to 3-7, so there's not much switching around the narratives to that final record, but still out there. I mean, given a great team, a great game today, and I expect the same against Wisconsin and Iowa. But
we'll project it forward here as we go on throughout the show.
Just know it's officially no bowl game unless you get the APR bowl.
I don't think that's happening this year. From what I've seen, just like I think there's going to be no spots.
Well, that and you'd have to win these last 2 games, which. We'll see.
Maybe you're in a position. Let's take a phone call. We got Brian on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Brian, thanks for holding. Go ahead.
Hey guys, just another emotional roller coaster Saturday over here.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I'm like, should I feel encouraged, discouraged? It's just, we had our opportunities, like you guys have been saying, as I've been listening to you guys. It's just, you don't really know what to think. I mean, in the second half, there's a possession specifically when we threw like 3 times in a row. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an armchair quarterback by any means, but I mean, it seemed like the option was running pretty well. We're getting good chunk plays on that. It just seemed like the running game was going really well. So, I mean, it's just hard to say. One thing I will say, though, and I will give the team and the coaches props for, is on the second half when, we came out and went out and didn't do a whole lot on offense. I mean, the team does really fight. I mean, that's one thing that's good. But I mean, eventually you do have to have the W's come as well. So it's going to be very interesting now to see when the bowl game is off the table, as you guys were just talking about as I was listening here, is that fight still going to happen here the next two games? I think it probably will. I mean, I think probably we should bring the coaching staff back with maybe some changes. I mean, otherwise, because we are close. I mean, hand grenades and horseshoes, I know. But, I mean, do we want to scrap this whole thing and start all over again? So, I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see how things turn out. So, thank you guys.
I guess I thank you for the call, Brian. I guess I have a quick thought on that. The whole idea that they'd be scrapping it and starting again. You'd be hiring a new coaching staff. But I don't know that it would be a total tear down rebuild again.
No.
I happen to think, and I guess this would be an argument, this would double as an argument to say, look what they've done, is I think the program from a roster standpoint, from a physicality standpoint, is in a pretty good position right now. I don't think whoever, if you were to go that route and fire the coaching staff, I don't think a new coach would come in, look around, and say, this is all wrong, we have to change everything. I don't think anybody would do that. Nor do I think they should. Now, is that an argument to say, hey, look, they've built it to a good position, they just can't get it over the hump wins wise, and that's still coming? Maybe you could argue it that way. Also, are they going to come? This is a team who is especially on the defensive side, really experienced. And I think I said this earlier in the week. I don't know if it's all that out of line to say, I think they've totally maxed out what they have been able to do defensively with the types of guys that they have. And not to say that they can't do it again. And it's a definite, feather in their cap that they are doing it. That's all we ever want. Just max out on one unit or the other or the third on a weekly basis or by season basis. So can they bring a different group back next year and max out again? And then where do you go on offense?
Yeah.
What do you do? So like, that's just the starting point of that conversation. We got a bye week coming up. There's 2 games left. We'll see how this week, we'll see what happens this week. Maybe there's enough juice and momentum at this very moment to say
coming off 4 straight losses.
Yeah, maybe, maybe to say, we could try this one more time. Maybe.
I would be very disappointed if that's what they do. I mean, because I think you've got to wait till the end of the season. You might feel good about where you are now, but if you finish 3-9, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You eventually got to win some of these games. And I didn't hold out a whole lot of hope that it was going to happen today against Ohio State. They had their chances. They played well. Hats off to them. But, I don't know how much of a difference there is between 3-9 and 4-8 and getting to 5-7. But at some point, 3-9 is just, it doesn't get much worse than that. You have to be able to win more than that. So I really would hope that they are not have made the decision either way. And that's what the leader's been saying. There's no decision been made. Well, they'll make it now. Let's see how this thing plays out. And to the roster point, it's a lot of it. So much of it depends on those super juniors and which one of them's come back and how many of them come back. So, it's just crazy and it's hard to tell. It adds to more of the part that makes this a difficult decision, or it's for either staff. It's for if Scott Frost's staff comes back or not, or the next staff comes in and has to what they're taking over. It could be potentially really ready to roll with some veterans, or it could be pretty much a youth movement, and that has nothing to do really which coaching staff is coming back.
Simple and I talked about this a lot on our walk to the game today, and he said multiple times, it's a quandary.
Yes.
I agree.
It's a quandary.
It's quite the quandary. So, back to the phones here. It is Ryan. Ryan, thanks for holding. Go ahead.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I just want to talk about a couple things. I think it's mandatory that Frost hires a real special teams coach this offseason.
Yep.
Because it's just, every game we get our hearts broken by all these missed field goals, all these, extra points getting blocked, ran back to the house. At some point you gotta take someone else instead of Dawson coaching special teams.
Well, yeah.
And another,
yeah, go ahead. Sure.
What's that?
Go ahead. Keep going.
My other thing is, I don't like to blame games on refs because I feel like it's a crappy excuse, but we needed that last drive, and it was a blatant holding call on Manning, against Manning.
Yep.
The dude had his arms wrapped around his waist, and that doesn't get called. Daddy Warren was in the house, so maybe
Sure
that's
was.
why.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Ryan. Appreciate it. 402-464-5685. Okay, a couple important points there. Which one do you want to do first? Special teams or officiating?
Let's start with officiating. I think that's a hot one.
Kevin Warren was in the building today. I can tell you, if you follow me on Twitter, I'll be getting a lot of mileage out of the picture that I took before the game. So I was like, I saw Kevin Warren, and he's got 6 different guys with him. Oh, they're all in suits, and they come down the sideline. Like, there's a presence about it, right? I'm like, all right, I got to get my phone out. So I kind of fall behind him, and I turn around once I get my phone out, and he's shaking the hands of the ref.
Perfect time.
I'm like, this is amazing. This could not have gone any better. So that's going to be memeable going forward.
Yes.
I don't know what to say, man. Like, it's been bad seemingly at the worst times. And it's been bad in general. And there's times where it feels like it's been bad against Nebraska, too. And I don't have a real response to that. It hurts. It hurts in games where your margin for error is already pretty small, obviously. So it does matter.
And the timing of that last call is certainly, that's why it's frustrating, is that
I can't
Nebraska
guarantee you
needed...
that Nebraska would have gone down and scored.
No.
But
and it was a throw underneath the sticks. So, they still would have probably had something to do there on fourth
Right.
down. But would have given them an opportunity because they just had to punt at that time. But for what it's worth, Ohio State was called for more penalties today. And I think the most egregious missed call was Ohio State catch that would have all but wrapped up the game, I believe. Within the red zone, that was a catch, and
that was a catch.
And then they just didn't call it that. They went and reviewed it and let it go. So, I think you have a reason to be mad if you're a Ohio State fan. I think you have a reason to be mad if you're a Nebraska fan.
How about the punt? The punt return.
Yeah, that was bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Are there any others that we missed? Text line. Have we mentioned all the major ones from today?
Yeah. So it's not good to have both sides mad at you. That probably means you didn't do a great job. And again, this is a routine problem for Big Ten officiating, and in a lot of college football writers and just heads that I follow on Twitter we're making the same joke. So this is Big Ten officiating, and it happens a lot. So they've got a stigma to them now.
I guess I guess consistency is what we're searching for, and if it's consistently bad everywhere, then we just have to bake that into our thing every week. But we don't know when the bad calls are going to happen, and they seem to happen at the wrong times. I don't have an answer for you.
Here's another one. That pass interference that was way over the Ohio State guy's head,
yeah.
and it was hardly pass interference. Like Miles Farmer might have grabbed his jersey or something, but it was just uncatchable, and that allowed them to extend.
It was
their drive.
uncatchable and a touch,
and just
ticky tack. Anyway.
Yeah.
That was when
that
I
was
first
a bad
deployed
one
the meme.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other thing that Ryan brought up was special teams. Definitely. I think some of the things that they're doing, they've made a couple nice special teams teams plays. The problem is you can't say you have good special teams when you make 8 out of 16 kicks on the year.
Well,
and
it's more than just field goal
and you miss
kicks,
extra
too.
points, and you
Yeah.
have 4-yard punts or
Yeah.
whatever they are, and then Pritchett will come back the next time and hit a 55-yarder. It'll be like, oh, cool. Where was that at? Their long snapper got hurt today. They had to have a second long snapper. The snaps didn't seem to be an issue, but then immediately after the long snapper leaves, that was when the 13-yard punt happened. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but
Yeah.
it just feels like it's always one thing or the other. Now, they had, Bullock made the great special teams tackle that may have saved a touchdown or at least gone a
huge
long
play.
way
Yeah.
for Smith and Jigba. Again, that guy is crazy fast. And they don't really return punts and they don't really return kicks. So you need to find a way to make it a positive for you at some point. And I'm with you. It needs a full-time special teams dedicated coordinator. And I don't like Dawson has those guys' attention. Dawson's a good coach. I'm telling you. And my guess would be that he'll stay on as the outside linebackers coach. But it needs more attention. It needs more love.
And I've been saying it all year. I don't think the answer is in-house. I mean, this is the fourth year. This is not a one-year problem.
Need
this
fresh eyes.
This has been a long time coming, and it just and again, when you talk about all these one-possession games or close games like this, how much do those special teams errors cost you? There's so many different things in close losses that you can say, well, this cost us here and that cost us here. But throughout the season, how much would just you don't have to be a great special teams, just be like the 50th best special teams in the nation, and you probably have a few more W's on the schedule than you do now.
Yep. Connor Happer, Jake Baca with you on the Husker After Party postgame show, brought to you by Southeast Community College and N Street Drive-In. Back to the phones on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We have Dave on the line. Dave, good afternoon.
Hey, Connor. Hey, Bach. Hey, while you're on the subject of special teams, I can't figure out watching the game if a guy is on the 5-yard line and the defenders are like maybe 15, 20, you're not even trying to run it to make something happen. You just raise your hand, and I think that's
they've thrown in the towel.
That's been going on way too long, guys, way too long. In the end, the results count. It's the problem I think Frost has. He's trying to run a business with his friends, and he's not getting the right feedback to him. But if you were a blind resume and you had a client and his record was 3-7 and 15 and 27, and you walked into a CEO who knew nothing about football, and he would laugh at the resume. It's just. But I'll tell you a good story about close. When I worked at Nike, and I knew the director of basketball, well, when they were in negotiations with Stephon Curry against Under Armour and they lost, the director of basketball said, "I don't like close." So he fired all the 8 negotiators who worked for Nike, canceled their corporate credit cards, and had their stuff outside headquarters when they got back to Oregon. They had to find their own way back. That's the definition. That's the definition of being close. But anyway, take care, guys.
Pretty hardcore, Dave. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Look, there's going to be changes.
Yeah.
There has to be changes. Nebraska's offense is at its best massively dependent on the big play, and at worst, completely and utterly broken.
Yeah, the whole idea.
It's whether it comes down to the idea of the thing or the execution of it. Is at its worst, it's broken, and it looks closer to that usually than when they're hitting the big ones.
Well, and this year is a bit different than last year, where the skill position players are now there to get those big plays, and I think that's the difference. And you can see that as momentum moving forward in the program. But are you going to be able to keep those guys? I mean, Ture is your biggest big play guy, and he's going to be moving on. So that's part of it. But it's just that offensive line. And I love Greg Austin, when he played here, the run game coordinator stuff. I mean, it's all good. But the offensive line has really been holding them back. And I don't know if it's Austin or some sort of change there, but that needs to be addressed because I said this last year because of the personnel they had, and I'll say it again this year. You can only do so much in play calling when you have guys in your quarterback's face 3 seconds after the snap.
It's not right. Schaefer and I have talked about this a lot before. What it looks like to me is they have there was some sort of miscommunication or misunderstanding, whatever it might be, between the players that you're recruiting and the type of offense that you're trying to run. And Greg Austin was kind of given somewhat of the keys. He's the run game coordinator, right? So I don't know what that means. Maybe that was just added for title's sake. Certainly looks like it at this point. Ultimately, it's Scott Frost's offense, so he's going to kind of do what he wants with it. But they're doing this mix mash weird hybrid of like power spread and also up tempo fast basketball on grass type of thing. Yeah. And they have the offensive line that honestly looks like road graders. I mean, Turner Corcoran's your left tackle, and I don't know that he's done so well this year. He looks like a guard to me. Bryce Benhart is getting cooked out there at right tackle.
Their tackles are struggling
a whole bunch, and I don't know what his future looks like. It's probably a guard, you know. Prohaska was the guy who came in and actually did a pretty nice job for, I think, what they wanted to do, and those were the games where it kind of clicked, right?
Yeah.
And he's hurt. The two guards that you actually have working right now, I think Sichterman's done okay. Newilly's done a great job after they figured out, so what's the future look like if Corcoran's a future guard and if Benhart's a future guard and you have Newilly and where's Juergens go, and Sichterman could come back too, right? So there's this kind of log jam / I don't know what it needs a streamlining across the board. Offense, the entire offense. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? And let's get the players to do it. Or if we're talking short-term fix, Band-Aid for next year, which we may be, we got to figure out what these guys do best and do it.
Yeah. Have some sort of identity.
We have to find a workable run game for this conference.
Yeah.
Not a good run game, a workable run game for this conference.
And by the way, how about that Marquise Step sighting on the most important possession of the game?
Marquise Step is literally gone. I haven't thought about him in months.
Yes.
And here he comes on the biggest drive of the game.
And he's never been known for like the best pass block or anything like that. It just didn't make any sense why we saw him there. I mean, I'm curious. Maybe there's injuries or something, but I'm curious what happened there. I'm sure somebody asked Frost and we'll get the answer, but I just have no idea how that happened.
It was one of the weirdest things of all time. So we'll hear from Frost here momentarily. Back to the phones. We have Bofus on the line. Good afternoon, Bofus.
How's it going?
Good.
Two things.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm going to watch the game again, but number 79 right tackle for the Buckeyes holding every play. Got called once.
Petit Friere, yes. That guy's huge.
Yeah, he's massive. I wouldn't want to have to feed and water him at all. The other thing is, I'm upset that we lost and all that. We fought and all that, but I tell you what, not too many people were thinking that we were going to be hanging with the number 5 team in the country into the fourth quarter, 6 minutes with the ball. I mean, they almost did it, you guys. I mean, I'm as upset as everybody, but I'm not.
Bofus?
I'll let you go with that.
Thanks, Bofus. Appreciate it.
Perfect.
And then you'll be saved. I pretty much get the point. I didn't think Nebraska would hang for as long as they did today. I thought they would deploy the exact plan that they deployed. I was skeptical on whether they could grab a couple interceptions. They did. I was skeptical on whether they could find a workable run game. They did. In the second half, at least.
Yeah.
When Adrian Martinez got magically healthy.
Which was that's always the key to Nebraska's offense is Adrian Martinez being able to run and calling run play calls for him. And they weren't doing that in the first half. And like you said, he got healthy. The option was back and it looked good. It's interesting, and some of it, I know Martinez at times gets criticized for holding onto the ball too long, but in that first half, especially when, 0-0 first quarter, and maybe they could have taken advantage of a couple opportunities there. But I thought Martinez did a good job of maybe not always
hung right in there,
not always making the great play, but avoiding, like he took some sacks that sometimes if he was pressing, he would try to make a play downfield instead. And with the being a one-score game or close to it throughout the whole game, I thought that was the right approach. Not necessarily trying to win the game, but just trying not to lose it at times.
That's right.
And that's, so some people can read that a different way. Oh, he's holding the ball too long. I thought it was a good idea, especially in the first half, the way he was playing.
I thought that was their path today. That was their path to winning it. You got to take advantage of a couple of their mistakes and don't screw up.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Nebraska got into field goal range twice and missed them both.
Yeah.
And they were down by 6 for the majority of the fourth quarter. This, by the way, finally came out during the broadcast. If you were listening, we got to talk about Gus and Klatt and the stuff that they were passing along there. There was they did a whole riff about Texas recruiting. And by the way, this stuff comes up because they have meetings with the coaches before the game, in the week. That's where their talking points come from when they get into, whatever lulls of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Curious to how that one came up. And then they're in a meeting with Adrian, and Adrian offers up that, first of all, it is the 10th anniversary of his mother passing away, and that he's had a broken jaw. And I've talked about this a lot since the Michigan State game. And, man, the kid just, you never would have known it. You never would have known it because he gets up in front of the media and he hides it.
Yeah.
He's got rubber bands in his teeth during the game, basically just duct taping his mouth together. And, he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't want to talk about it. You ask him about it and he's like, I'm not talking about it. And he was finally asked about it after the game since it kind of became public information.
Yeah, listen, again, I've been on the high side.
This is Frost on it.
Around here, on the left side around here. And, Adrian's been playing with a broken jaw and a high ankle sprain. And I feel good going into bye week saying that because he's past it. But, he's showing a lot of grit and toughness. Those two things are obviously going to make you a little bit different player. And I agree with you in the second half. I thought he took off and got us tough yards.
High ankle sprain too. That's not just I rolled my ankle. High ankle sprains stick for a while. We could just do this for a couple more minutes before we take another phone call here. Here's Martinez on why he decided to play through the injuries.
Yeah. Some more information I'm sure will be disclosed after the season, and I'll go more in depth there. But really, it was a tough choice and one I wanted to make for my teammates and wanted to do for our team. Simple as that, and continue to fight and lead the guys. It's really as simple as that for me.
Man,
that's a lot.
Back to the phones. We have Brady on the line. Good afternoon, Brady.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
So same old movie every single week, same monotonous press conference from Scott. We got to do better, and I quote. And special teams look abysmal per usual, and we can't take advantage of turnovers. Worst turnover margin in the country over the past 15 years. We actually rank 5th in net yards per play, like with the elite company of Cincinnati, Ohio State's up there, and yet we're dead last in perhaps the worst division in Power 5 football. And so just look forward to Husker basketball because things aren't going to be getting any better this winter for the football team. It's going to be a really, really long off season. I'll leave you guys with your thoughts.
Thank you, Brady. That's quite the grim picture there.
Hey, at least he's like looking out for Nebraska basketball.
So here's the thing, and what turnovers do is they afford you an extra opportunity at the football, right? And Nebraska for the entire season just hasn't really gotten them. They are a good, solid defense that does as much as they possibly can, but obviously needs a boost from their offense. And don't exactly get that they're not opportunistic, but they got 2 picks today. So off the first one that happened by Stroud with 9:17 remaining in the first quarter, Nebraska gets it, and then they punt.
Yeah. To be fair, that one was more. Some turnovers are about what do you do with them.
Right.
Some of them are more about stopping them because that took them. They were in field goal range, so that took points off the board
right.
basically.
That's right. So 6 plays, 13 yards, and they ended up having to punt it away. The last one was at the start of the fourth quarter. They get a pick. They have their best drive of the game. and stall out and miss a field goal.
Yeah.
Stop me if that sounds familiar. 11 plays, 73 yards. They're doing a little bit of everything. I think they got a penalty in there that was helpful as well. And they get into this 3rd and 4, I think, and they tried to throw it to Vokalek, and it looked like to me the first 2 plays of that little sequence there were plays that you run if you're planning on having 4 tries at it, right?
Yeah.
And then the 3rd down play, they throw for it. And I think it would have been short of the sticks anyway for Vokalek. I'll have to go back and exactly look at that. But they missed high on the throw, and then they go to 4th down. It's like, okay, we're at 4th and 4 here. Down by 6. We're already playing with kind of house money, you know?
Yeah.
We feel like we have an actual chance
the momentum's
here.
there.
You try and kick a field goal and miss it.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
I don't know what a made field goal would have done for you.
It draws you within 3, but then you need another field goal from your awful field goal unit, and you need to have that faith in it. Now,
Nebraska got the ball back 2 more times. They had a 3 and out basically, and then the other drive was at the very, very end of the game where they were down by 2 scores.
I just feel, regardless of your record, throw out all the other stuff of how bad you need this win. If you have a chance to strike, if you're playing to win the game, you go for it there. If you're playing to keep it close, then you maybe trot out the field goal kicker. But again, this is Chase Contreras. This is his 2nd week on the job, and he hasn't taken over for a very much struggling Connor Culp throughout 8 games of the season. So I just don't know where the faith in the field goal unit necessarily comes from. I'm interested in Connor Culp is the guy that trot out back there next week again.
Who knows?
Because I think it's just as open as it was before with 2 missed field goals.
Maybe they'll flip another coin like they did. What did they say? They did a kickoff.
Yeah, they had kickoffs before the game.
I mean, when you're doing a kickoff, like a kicking competition, 10 games into the year, you don't know what you're doing.
And it's just
you don't have an answer
at that point in time. Just why is that when you think that that's the time? I mean, as much as the defense has been playing their butts off, even if you're down 3 and they score, then you could be down 10 with Ohio State's offense in a minute like that. You need to go out there and try to take that lead. You have a chance. You just barely missed the 1st down there. I just don't understand the play call there. If you're playing to win and if you're playing to get a monumental win, you're the underdogs. There's a lot stacked up against you. This is your opportunity, and it just wasn't in attack mode.
Here's Scott Frost on the very decision that we are talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, it needs context here. Do you regret not going for it on 4th down?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a chip shot. He's been kicking really well. Wish I had it back now. Obviously, you second guess yourself. But again, to try to make it a 3-point game, that's the right football decision. Whether or not it was the right situational decision, knowing what I know now, I would have done something else.
Well, football decisions only make sense if it is in the right situation.
Yeah.
Like football decisions in this like video game world where you could just, make it every single time.
Or if you're Ohio State, they've made it every single time.
But then once again, like you have to do another drive just like you did that felt like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
11 plays, 73 yards to get all the way down there. I don't know. You had to be thinking during that drive, this is our best crack. This is our best crack. And to say, no thanks, we'll try again, even if you do make it, feels really short-sighted. I mean, really short-sighted. And he admitted it, obviously.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it much better.
You just have to strike while the iron's hot. I mean, and more than anything, like you said earlier, just take advantage of the opportunities when you're there because you're not getting a lot of them. This was another game, and it felt like watching the 2009 team all over again, where you almost get to a point of feeling bad for the defense because of how many times they have to go out there and save this team.
But at least
possession
you knew.
after possession.
Like at least you knew. It was like the offense is gonna be poop today.
Yeah.
Right. But here's the deal. They're not gonna turn it over. They're not gonna put you in any bad spots. And we have the greatest kicker on the face of the earth.
Yes, that was nice back then.
So like what you're getting.
Yeah.
The consistency kind of matters. The context matters anyway. Quick call from Matthew before we take a break here. Hey Matthew.
Hey fellas. Love the show, man. Listen all day. Great we got to give a shout out to Husker Nation as well. I mean, that place
Great
was
crowd.
rocking.
Yep.
From start to finish, it was electric in there, and it wasn't one of those games where you get to the third quarter, even the fourth quarter, and you're like, oh man, we're out of this, and it just shut down. I think all the way up, honestly, until that very last drive. I think we all kind of had hope in a way, and that's something. You look at what last year, 52-17, and you guys talked about it. You and Sip this morning on the radio. All of media were talking about, that wasn't a terrible game. No, that was a crap game. This one just felt different. I feel for the seniors, man. I feel for the defense. They played lights out. I mean, that's honestly the heart of the team. Do you guys see progress at the end of the day? Take the coaches out of it. Take the score out of it. Do you see progress from today? From our last game. I'll shut up and listen. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate the call. So on the crowd, yeah. I mean, it wasn't completely full. There was some rows in the upper north stadium there that were a little empty.
I went to the game and there were 6 seats next to me that were to the right that were wide open and 5 seats next to the left of me.
I don't care about that. I don't care about that. You show up, you're loud.
But that's I was sitting up in the nosebleeds, so there was a few spots like that.
It's good. People, they could feel that, and it helps. It gives Nebraska momentum. Matthew then asked about, do we see progress? But then he said, take out the coaches and so I guess I don't really have an answer to that. I mean, do I see progress overall? Do I see progress from game to game? I think that's kind of what he was talking about. Did Nebraska get better than last game? Did they have a better game plan today? Did they execute it better? Yes. Is that the standard we're holding them to? It looks like it at this point. Like, I don't know. We're trying to find optimistic points for whatever. I don't want to erase last week's terrible, no good loss in the last 2 weeks when you include Minnesota. 2 games anyway. We can't just erase that because they played well and still lost again today, or they executed and still lost today. Those things matter. Those are ultimately the things that bother me the most. Because I can't definitively say that those days are behind them. I thought they were. Nebraska played really, really bad at Illinois to start the year in a game in which they were, 9.5-point favorites or whatever it was. And I was like, what is going to happen this year? And then they rattled off 6 straight games or 5 straight games where they made me forget about it. They won against Fordham, Buffalo, and Northwestern. They played well against Michigan State. And, lost it in a fluky way or whatever at the end. And wasn't the next game after that Michigan?
I think the Oklahoma game.
Oklahoma played well against
Michigan
Oklahoma
State,
too.
And then Michigan after Northwestern.
After Michigan. And you're like, all right, cool. I forgot about Illinois. Illinois is a long time ago. We can't forget about it in the win-loss column, but I don't think that's a representative thing of what this team is.
If they played today, Nebraska would beat Illinois.
I don't think that's representative of what this team is anymore.
Yeah.
And then they show up at Minnesota. And you're like, oh, okay, it's still possible. And then they back it up after a bye week and do it again against Purdue. So I can't guarantee you just because Nebraska, I think, played well enough to win today against a good team that other team still can't show up, because they can. Nebraska ultimately has lost 3 games that they were supposed to win this year. 3 times.
Yeah.
that's a different. That's 3-9 to 6-6, Bach.
It's quite a difference. And I will say this too, just because, we did all our pregame stuff and getting ready for this game this week. It's kind of funny going back over the last time Nebraska played Ohio State close, which was Frost's first year in 2018 in the Horseshoe. And some of the quotes that were coming out of that is, I think it was Adrian that said, we're close. This thing's about to take off. So, close, it is good, but it's not like Nebraska hasn't been close before. I would argue that was at the other point where Frost was probably at the height of his era, which was at the end of a 4-8 season, but they went 4-2 down the stretch, and he thought it was going to take off. Whatever happened with that close and not quite getting there, it didn't translate into the next season. And so that's something that's going to have to happen. And then some other offseason problems we've seen over the last couple of years where you lose your 800-yard receiver, or you lose your top recruit that you've had over your entire tenure here and a guy that was making your really making your offense go in Wandale last year. So the offseason is a game of in its own where Scott Frost has not necessarily won it a lot. So it's just it doesn't mean being close now doesn't mean that they will be there next year, because we saw that at the end of 2018 and it didn't translate to 2019.
402-464-5685. The Husker After Party postgame show is brought to you by Southeast Community College and N Street Drive-In. Connor Happer, Jake Bachhoven with you, recapping Nebraska's 26-17 loss today to Ohio State. Don't forget, we're about probably a little more than a half hour away from the ticket post-game show with DP and Jake out at Tanner's. Let me get my sheet here. They have $9.99 Aggie sandwiches and $4 Coors Lights and 16-ounce aluminum pints there at Tanner's for you all night. It's always a party when the guys are out there, so join them. They'll roll until about 6 tonight. Let's take another phone call. We have Russ on the line. Hey, Russ.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. This program is as hollow as this BS sellout streak. They need to quit announcing that, because that's just as big a sham as our football program is. The guys play hard, but our coaches are pathetic. Frost couldn't coach himself out of a paper bag, makes terrible decisions. It's 23-17. You have the worst special teams in the whole freaking country, and you're trying to line up for field goals when you don't know if you're going to get back down there again, and you got 4 yards to go. If in my mind, if guys, we talked about it, and in my mind, if Trev is happy with people's apathy and settling for 3-7 and 4-8 every year, go ahead and keep Frost. But if he's about building this thing up into a real, college football program, so maybe we can come home on a Saturday afternoon after a victory, for God's sakes, and maybe watch some other football teams, and maybe those games matter. I guess we'll find out how much if Trev cares about Scott Frost and his legacy, or if Trev cares about the University of Nebraska and the fans and this product on the field, because our coaching staff is putrid on the offensive side, supposed to be Mr. All-World offensive coach, Mr. Cocky Scott Frost, and he couldn't coach himself out of a paper bag. And I'm done with him. I don't care how close this game was. A loss is a loss. We are Nebraska. We're not Kansas. We're not any other crappy school. We're freaking Nebraska, and we're supposed to be about winning, and this is year 4. So, Trev, if you are happy with mediocrity and fan apathy and want to let this program just flounder, you just keep doing the same thing. I'm hearing Bill O'Brien, possibly offensive coordinator at Alabama, former Penn State and Eastern Texas coach, may have been spoken to, but that's just something that's flying around. But this can't continue. They've been given plenty of time. Thanks, guys.
Russ, thanks for the call. And a little rumor mill at the end there.
Yeah, I like that.
Get that one in there. Thank you for the call. There's a lot to kind of parse through there. I feel like it's okay to be unsold and on the fence at the moment. Now, Russ, here's the thing. Nebraska, if they were to stick with Scott Frost, Trev Alberts, if he was to stick with Scott Frost at the end of this year, I do not think the message to him would be, stay the course, Scott. Everything is okay. It is definitely not okay.
Yeah.
We are all able to look at this thing and admit, all right, something's broken here. Something's wrong. So the message wouldn't be, we accept this and we're going to continue on. No. That's the wrong interpretation of what we're seeing here. It would be, the question that he has to answer is, do we think that that Scott Frost can make the changes necessary, the tweaks necessary to get to that point, to get it done? That's the question he has to answer. Right?
Yeah.
And if you think the answer is no, then fine. It's time to go. It's time to cut ties and move on. If you don't believe that he can change, or if you don't believe that he'll make the right moves in the offseason, or you can help him with that, or whatever that might be, then yeah, there's a perfectly acceptable argument to go that way. But I do think there is a probably a push or a thought that we like a good amount of what's in place here, and it's going to take some changes. It's going to take some tweaking. Obviously, we have to get to that point. We're not accepting where we are, so we have to do something different. But we can keep the bones of what we have. I think there's an argument that way too.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Whichever way this ultimately goes, there's a split fan base. So just as he was on the call, some of our text lines saying "shut this guy up" and hang up on him, and another one that says this guy's speaking the truth. So I mean, you obviously have different opinions everywhere. And I don't know about the whole close. Like, what are you close to? Are you close to 6-6? Is 6-6 what you want? Because ultimately you want to move the goalpost down. So you might be close to 6-6, but ultimately don't you want to be close to 10-2? And 3-7 is an awful long way away from 10-2. But at the same point, we've had the 9-4s, we've had the 10-4s, and the problem there was you'd show up to these type of games and you'd lose 59-17.
Yep.
And so, and it would just happen over and over again. So and I know that's just the Bo Pelini era, but there's plenty of coaches that go through that problem where you can have a good team that'll beat a Minnesota on a given day, but they will not have a chance against the big boys. So it's fascinating. No matter what way you look at it, you have a strong argument on either side. And it continues. Today does not change that narrative. Today helps enforce the narrative further that, hey, there you are, 3-6 to 3-7, only losses matter. Or on the other side, this is more than just a good game here and there against teams that are on the come up. This is Ohio State that you played close to, who has just about as much talent or more talent than anybody in the nation, maybe sans Alabama.
Brent and Greg, hang on the line. We'll take a break here. Come back. More of the Husker After Party postgame show next.
The workday is long, the bills are due, and sometimes you just need to relax. There's no better way to do that than in your brand new hot spring spa from Bonzal Pool & Spa. With hot tubs as low as $75 per month and interest-free financing, you're sure to find the perfect spa to fit your lifestyle. So get over to Bonzal Pool & Spa today and check out their selection of hot spring spas. Bonzal Pool & Spa, 33rd and Highway 2. Every day made better.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
One host has a red beard and thinning hair. The other also has a red beard and thinning hair. One host got married over the summer. So did the other one. One is a diehard fan of a sub-500 AL Central baseball team. So is the other. Can these two radio hosts do a show together without getting confused as to their own identity? The same couple. Happer and Schaefer. Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. November's beers of the month are from Nebraska Brewing Company, Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale, and Avery Brewing. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
Back to the Husker After Party postgame show. Brought to you by Southeast Community College on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jake Bachhoven and Connor Happer back with you on the Husker After Party postgame show today, brought to you by Southeast Community College and N Street Drive-In. So Nebraska loses to Ohio State 26-17. Stay tuned for the Ticket postgame show coming to you in about 20 or so minutes, maybe a little more. Live from Tanner's down south. Jake and DP will be with you from there, but we still have some callers to get through. We have Brent on the line. Brent, thanks for holding. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks. This is Brent from Bremerton, Washington. Hey, I left Grand Island in 1988, and back then we listened to Tom Osborne. We weren't sure he was going to make it. You know what? He would not have made it with social media. I was proud of the guys today. Russ is just full of bull. Scott Frost needs to have 3 more years. If you look at where we were 4 years ago and where we're going, we weren't in this game 2, 3, 4 years ago. So we need to get off Scott's back. And again, I was proud of this team. I had guys over my house over here, all military guys, had different first teams. But guess what? The Huskers are all their second teams right now, and they were congratulating me on the team because they didn't expect us to hold water to Ohio State, and we did. So that's all I wanted to say. And I'm proud of the Huskers, and Scott Frost 3 more years.
Thanks, Brett. Appreciate it. 402-464-5685. Hard for me to just blindly sign off on that at this point.
3 more years is a lot. But maybe next year is what they're really going for.
That'd be a blind 7 years.
Yeah.
And you made the point, Bach, before the break. I mean, Nebraska is in this really interesting position, and from this point of view, good, where nobody comes in here, or you don't go out on the road thinking they're just going to get waxed today. They're gonna fall over. Yeah. I thought there was a chance that could happen today, and they didn't, and they've backed that up kind of a lot of times in a row now.
Yeah, you kind of thought that against Oklahoma. Didn't happen
basically since Ohio State last year, it hasn't happened to them. However, they don't beat the teams they're supposed to consistently enough. Like, we can't forget about that today. I know this is the good version of this, where they lose close to a legit good team, and you're a 15-point underdog, and you only lost by 9. Math. 9. Like, that's cool, and it felt good during it. Nebraska had a chance to win. We were in it all the way to the fourth quarter, and that was a lot of fun. But for me, they just need to consistently beat the teams that they're supposed to, way more consistently than they're doing right now. With that being said, if you could lay forth a plan where, and this wouldn't happen like publicly, or I don't know, maybe, but if you can lay forth a plan to say, all right, this is what we have to do. Here's what we have to address. Can we do it in one off season and make it so next year we don't have these weird lapses in these games, and at the same time we get over the hump in a couple of them that were quote unquote not supposed to win, because they still have to do that too. I'm not letting them off the hook for all of them. I mean, Michigan State was. Yeah. I mean, you still. I know they're undefeated right now, and maybe not for long with Purdue today, but that game you should have won, right? So just because they're number 3 in the country now doesn't mean Nebraska in the moment couldn't have won that game.
Well, and I think because you don't get these discussions with the coaching staff and stuff. You only can make your opinion about whether you should stay or not, from afar. But if I'm Trev Alberts, I have my list of questions for Coach Frost. I will, it's basically an exit interview or an extension interview. Is okay, here's the 15 problems that I have with what's going on right now. How are you addressing that? And if he has good answers for those, then maybe you keep him. If he's kind of searching or just not given you the answers, then you make the decision. So it's more than just even the results on the field and all the stuff we see there. I would need to know how he is going to address these problems. The other thing I wanted to mention is I get what he's saying as far as the frustrations with Osborne's that time for not winning bowl games. He had like a 6-game losing streak and stuff like that. As far as bowl games, but the comparisons of any kind of Osborne to Frost is completely silly right now. I remember when Frost was hired, there were thoughts that he'd be the next Osborne. I don't care what you think, whether Frost should stay or go. He's not the next Osborne. And his resume already puts it up there that it's not going to happen. We have to win so many games. So I don't necessarily still like any of those comparisons.
Doesn't mean they can't figure it out, but we got to let that one go.
Right? Yeah.
Greg and Milford's on the line. Hey, Greg.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Good.
So, fortunately for my job, I get to travel all over the Midwest. So I've met a lot of people that are Husker fans all over. And a lot of them I would consider probably the old school money for Nebraska boosters and alumni. And consensus about them is they fire Frost. Albert's better hope is new money from Omaha comes up because they're not paying another coach to be fired.
Yeah, I've heard that.
With their donations. So Trevor Albert's is in kind of a sticky situation with the old school money that comes into UNL. And a lot of that money is tied to Frost and Matt Davison. Matt Davison's Frost's best friend. So that's all I got to say. Like I said, Frost to me deserves another year. A lot of stuff came out today about Martinez that we can only speculate what's wrong with him. Now we kind of officially know what's wrong with him. So I would love to see Frost without Martinez on that offense, but that's my opinion. I'll hang up and listen to you guys. Take it easy.
Greg, thank you. Appreciate it. It's a good point. And we get into the whole back channeling stuff and all that too. And that's semi weird, I guess.
That's interesting.
It is interesting, but bottom line, the buyout is a looming thing here.
I don't know if you're building a $150 million extension of the stadium. I don't know if it'd be a problem.
Where's the money coming from? Like I think Greg mentioned it. Like you're basically going up to like, all right, can we make this move? Can we collect the extra $20 million that we need in order to do this?
Today? I know where you can do it. The Big Ten is going to give you money. You get what, $43 million from them?
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see the money as a big problem. And there's several teams there's several coaches that have been fired from Scott Frost's class already. Mississippi State, Mississippi, and Arkansas all have done the turnaround to be in the top 25 this year with the coach after the coach they hired for as long as been Scott Frost. So yep. I don't necessarily buy into that there's no money or that this next hire you'd have to rebuild 3 years.
That's just no money.
That's just not college football these days. And there's lots of money flying around when you're building a $150 million extension to the stadium that I just don't think that the $20 million is gonna hold you up, and then you're gonna have to charge students extra money to get in or whatever.
One more call for the end of the hour. Steve's on the line. Hey, Steve.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I'd like to respond to the guy that says they need to just blanket give them 3 more years. That's just crazy talk. You got to hold people accountable. You can't just say, "Here's a blank check. Go ahead and do what you want for the next 3 years, no matter what the record is." You go year by year. Everybody's on the fence right now about bringing them back. I mean, to just write a blank check, like they pretty much have, and just say, "Yeah, come on back 3 more years, do what you want." No, you do it year by year. And if they're not getting the results, like the guys on the broadcast today were saying, they need short passes because there's too much pressure coming in. Well, if the guys on the broadcast and everybody in Husker Nation can see that, why can't our coaches see that? These long passes they're waiting to develop. Yeah, they got one or two, but come on, get the short pass game going. Allen, what happened? Did he get hurt? He was catching the ball fine, making good yardage. Then they go away from it. Then they try to throw it to, I don't know if he was hurt or why they went away from it. When stuff works, keep going to it till they shut it down. That's all I got, guys.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate the call. It's, to a certain extent, I understand the difficulty in play calling. It just, there's at least one thing wrong on each individual play for Nebraska football. So what do you trust? When we go back to that word trust all the time, are Nebraska's tackles going to be able to hold up for like 2.5 seconds?
You're right.
Like unlikely. Is Adrian going to make a clean and accurate throw? I don't know. That's 50-50. Is there going to be a guy who runs the wrong way or fails to kind of understand the play? You don't know that. So it's hard to kind of hone in on who you are and what you want to do when seemingly it's one little thing every single time they go out there. That's why that's why the totality of the offense is broken. They don't have a thing that they can lean on. It's called identity. So it's tricky where, you're doing these they were talking about on the broadcast, these long developing passing plays, but also, Adrian's hurt and he needs like 0.5 more seconds. And can he make the throw anyway? Like what do you do? You're handcuffed to a certain extent.
Well, and you have to run what you've been practicing, especially with some of these younger guys that we just want to see on the field. And then part of the reason that they're not on the field is what we hear from the coaching staff is that they don't know the playbook. Well, you're just going to add more to that. But it's more of a longer term thing to me. It's not an adjustment in game.
Totally agree.
It's a long term thing where the offensive line has been a problem, and it will continue to be a problem when you play Ohio State every year because that defensive line is always going to be filled with 4- and 5-star talent.
Haskell Garrett, he got shot in the face.
He did.
People forget that.
I mean, they probably have 2 first-round draft picks on the defensive line, and they will next year. So you have to somewhat prepare for these games and the situation, especially when your offensive line hasn't been very good throughout your tenure, that maybe there will be a chance that you would have to rely on a short passing.
All right, get in your last calls at 402-464-5685. We're about 15 minutes away from turning it over to Jake and DP down at Tanner's. We'll have one more segment coming up on the other side. So once again, 402-464-5685. Get in your thoughts there as we round out the Husker Afterparty postgame show next.
If you're thinking about a new career, improving your job skills, or just continuing your love of lifelong learning, Southeast Community College's Spring Continuing Education Catalog is hitting your mailbox soon. It's chock full of options. Learn how to write a compelling grant application, become a pharmacy tech, or even learn to ride a motorcycle. We even provide the bike. Check out your catalog or go to southeast.edu/continuing education. SCC, your path to possible.
Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. November's beers of the month are from Nebraska Brewing Company, Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale, and Avery Brewing. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Back in the saddle again.
Gordon steps to a tackle. Touchdown, Denver!
Sunday morning, the Broncos ride into the Lone Star State. Join Dave Logan and Rick Lewis for the game.
Keep fighting, make them play.
The Broncos and Cowboys on the KOA Broncos Radio Network.
Pre-game on Sunday starts at 10 a.m. Kickoff is at noon right here on your home for Denver Broncos football in Lincoln, Nebraska. 93.7 The Ticket.
Man, we sure could use an easy win this season. I hear you. That's why I suggested to the wife that we go to Magical Lights of Seward, the area's largest and most entertaining drive-through Christmas light show. So, by suggesting going to Magical Lights of Seward, you got a win? Yeah, my wife said it was the best idea I'd had in a long time. The kids loved the dazzling light show, synced with traditional and modern Christmas music, and we had an affordable, fun family experience. Get your win, too, by pre-ordering your tickets today at magicallightsofseward.com/ticket.
The workday is long, the bills are due, and sometimes you just need to relax. There's no better way to do that than in your brand new hot spring spa from Bonsall Pool & Spa. With hot tubs as low as $75 per month and interest-free financing, you're sure to find the perfect spa to fit your lifestyle. So get over to Bonsall Pool & Spa today and check out their selection of hot spring spas. Bonsall Pool & Spa, 33rd and Highway 2. Every day made better.
You could celebrate a Nebraska football win with chips or wings and your favorite beverage, but Beatrice Bakery has all sorts of cakes to celebrate all victories this fall. Coffee cake, breakfast bread, artisan cakes, and especially Grandma's fruit cake. No one remembers who brought the chips, but everyone remembers who brought the cake. Make your parties memorable and your Mondays at the office better with cakes from Beatrice Bakery. They ship nationwide. Check out BeatriceBakery.com. Proud sponsors of the Nebraska Shrine Bowl. Welcome to our world of yum.
The workday is long, the bills are due, and sometimes you just need to relax. There's no better way to do that than in your brand new hot spring spa from Bonzal Pool & Spa. With hot tubs as low as $75 per month and interest-free financing, you're sure to find the perfect spa to fit your lifestyle. So get over to Bonzal Pool & Spa today and check out their selection of hot spring spas. Bonzal Pool & Spa, 33rd and Highway 2. Every day made better.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back to the Husker Afterparty postgame show. Brought to you by Southeast Community College on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Husker Afterparty postgame show. Final 10 or so minutes here. Connor Happer, Jake Bachhoven with you, but the coverage is not over when we leave. It continues on with Jake Sorensen and Derek Pearson from Tanner's down south for the Ticket post-game show. They'll have another hour and a half or so of reaction and thoughts from this game. This game, which is a Nebraska loss to Ohio State, 26-17. They fall to 3-7.
Yeah.
3-7 on the year. The bowl game is officially off the table. Scott Frost, where do we think this program is at now? And we're not going to a bowl game for the 5th straight year.
Listen, like I said, man, I bleed for Nebraska. I've lived in O'Neill and Lincoln and McCook and Wood River and was born in Crete, and I bleed for this, and we're giving everything we have and pouring everything we have into this, and nobody's more disappointed to me. That hasn't happened yet.
Can I stop here real quick? This is not an effort thing. Like, we know that they're trying hard. If there's one guy who definitely is invested into this thing, it's that guy. It's the guy who's talking to you. I have absolutely no reservations or doubts about him trying.
Yeah.
And how much he cares. My question is, do they have the answers? My question is, are they good enough? Ultimately, are you good enough? Anyway, that was like
he's too much.
Like he just says that like there's an assumption that that it's falling short because of effort or something like that. I don't know. It ain't that for me. I know they're trying. I know they are. They got a lot of guys over there who work really hard. They do. Frost cares about it a ton. He does.
He seems to be getting better, I've noticed, at placating to the audience a little bit.
Yeah.
He's been doing that over the last several weeks, and maybe that kind of knowing where things are and that there's a decision to make at the end. But yeah, I mean, it's not from a lack of effort. The problem is, you know, with that stuff, like that's great to hear and all, but there's a lot of former Huskers and just Nebraskans in general that would try as much as they can. And quite honestly, some of them get similar results, at least in the win-loss column. Yep. So, you know, it is frustrating, but I do think a part of the discussion as we go forward has always been with Scott Frost is that if he hits, if you do finally get him to be good at this job, you probably have him for quite some time. And hopefully that's a good version of Scott Frost for quite some time.
He continues.
There's too many good things happen for us to not get over this hump. And, you know, I let you guys wrote about it a lot. I let the team, the captains talk to the team after the game. And I told them today, don't hang your head. They should be proud of the way they played. They keep putting themselves in position to have a chance to win against really good competition. And we're doing a lot of things right. They just got to keep doing them. and keep putting ourselves in position to win games. The one thing that I'll be critical of myself and the team is if we play with that much spirit in every game, I think we have a couple more wins.
Great point.
Now you go through a grind of a season, and it's tough to play your absolute best every single game. But I never want us to look back. There was guys jumping around on the benches and on the sideline, and that's the passion that Nebraska fans want to see. That's the passion that I want to see.
Fuck, I want you to believe me. Maybe you won't. But at risk of sounding stupid before the game, I did not tweet out or say, like, I said it to a couple people. It's like, I think they have it today. You can just tell.
Yeah.
You can just feel it.
They were pumped up on the sidelines for the kick.
I was on the sideline for each of the last 2 games that they've played. It didn't look like that. It didn't feel like that. And he nailed it right there. That's unacceptable. You know, it's not today that frustrates me.
No,
it's not. So like, and we have to react to this game, right? And this is our reaction to it. But I talked to a couple people before the game. I was like, I think they're going to give them their best shot today. I think they're going to, whatever that means, whatever that equals, I think they're going to give them a good shot today. Did they give Minnesota and Purdue their best shot? No. And it cost them 2 games. And it cost them a bowl game probably. Because I kind of like their chances to win one of these last 2. I don't know.
A specific one?
Iowa.
Yeah.
Iowa.
Yeah.
I'd say kind of.
Yeah.
I kind of like their chances to win one of their last 2. And if there's one thing we know they could do is they could rally the troops and they could get up off the mat following another devastating, heartbreaking loss. So don't doubt for a second that they can't beat one of those 2 teams.
Could this possibly be, is there any which way that this could be the turning point for the program? It doesn't seem like it because it blends in with a bunch of all the other stuff and you fall and you lose and all that. But it's not impossible for them to beat Wisconsin and Iowa. We're not going to go into those games going, yeah, they just don't have a chance. You know what I mean? Like Wisconsin sounds more difficult than Iowa, but would it shock me if they beat Wisconsin after a performance like that today? If they went out with that same energy, they could beat Wisconsin.
Yeah. I mean, if they do it, you might look back at it.
Yeah. It has to be done. Eventually, you have to get a win.
That's the problem, Bach. I think they've had a lot of these games.
Yeah.
They've had a ton of these games over the last 3.5
Oklahoma
years.
felt like it was the turning point.
Yes. Michigan State.
Yep.
Michigan. They've had a lot of these moments. And the next week, whether it's another issue of them falling short in a highly competitive game and atmosphere, or them just not showing up against a team that they were supposed to beat, they're not able to continue momentum. I mean, he talks about needing wins all the time, and he's right. It's about, I love the attitude before the season. They talked a lot about stacking days, right? And that's a thing that you hear in football all the time, but that's really truly what it's all about. It's being better the day before than, being better today than the day you were last week. Whatever. I can't talk.
Yeah. I get it.
And that's game by game too.
Yeah.
And there was a good chunk of this season where I felt like that was happening. And then for whatever, I want to listen to this part again, because let's hear Scott Frost talk about kind of what happened there. And I think he's specifically referencing the last 2 games.
We're doing a lot of things right. They just got to keep doing them and keep putting ourselves in position to win games. The one thing that I'll be critical of myself and the team is if we play with that much spirit in every game, I think we have a couple more wins. Now you go through a grind of a season, and it's tough to play your absolute best every single game. But I never want us to look back. There was guys jumping around on the benches and on the sideline, and that's the passion that Nebraska fans want to see. That's the passion that I want to see.
They gave themselves a chance to be in that game with that today. They didn't give themselves a shot over the last 2 weeks. That's super disappointing. There was a skirmish.
Yeah, I saw that.
Ohio State. So by the way, first of all, skirmishes are nothing, but it also did happen against Oklahoma. So you have your sides of the field. You have your 50s. You're not supposed to go across. And Ohio State's warming up, and there's a guy on the 35-yard line. And Cam Taylor-Britt's just like, hey man, like, can we not? And he clearly didn't want to start anything. He was like, let's just,
Yeah.
Can you go back to your side of the field? And then it's like, no, man, this is our field. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Ohio State wanted to start something. That's why they were there.
Yep.
And they were. I noticed too that they came out during the tunnel walk. A few of them were kind of pushing their way over to the end zone, just making sure they do their thing. So
that's okay.
It is what it is. If you're a bully, be a bit of a bully.
Sure,
go ahead.
I have no issues with with a skirmish.
Yeah.
Stay on your side of the 50.
Then there's no skirmish.
If you're a guy who doesn't like skirmishes, stay on your side of the 50.
Yeah.
All right. We got a couple minutes left here. 402-464-5685. Here is Frost on what I think the issue that mainly plagued them today. It's always something, right? And you can zoom in on either offense, defense, special teams, what specifically was giving them issues today. I thought today was pass protection. Adrian just had no time. And then the fact that he's hurt and isn't a big part of the run game either. Here's Frost on the pass pro.
Not good enough. We had to run a lot of max. No, they're really good. I should have started this whole thing with that. They got a elite talent at every position. I thought our secondary, they gave up a lot of yards to one kid, but just overall them battling against that caliber of player was impressive. That caliber of running back and giving up the rushing yards that we did. Man, these guys are fighters. There's some things we're not doing well enough. And I think this far into the season, everybody sees some of those things. One of them's pass pro. We just got to be better. We have to call too many max pro things and boots with extra guys in. And that kind of limits us a little of what we can call and get going fast and get rhythm. And kind of limits the routes you can run. And that's something we just got to keep working on. Now we're young up front. There's some guys banged up front. Losing Teddy certainly didn't help, but in general, people get on Adrian pretty hard. Sometimes he deserves it. Sometimes we got to do a better job around him, and protection's one of those areas.
That's pretty good. It's a pretty good summation.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take away the fact that they aren't good at it.
Yeah.
But, needs to be better. All right, Bach, we got about 45 seconds left here. Next 2 weeks, your record prediction.
I do think that this team, if they play like they did today, they'll beat Iowa.
It feels like
Can they do that? Can they play like they did today?
It feels like this is maybe the year where you catch Iowa. And man, if they ever need it.
Yeah.
Because my sense is that we're gonna go another year here with the coaching staff. That's my sense at this point. And that would help a lot.
Well, I think you're going to have to evaluate where Iowa is.
Well done, Bach. That's it from us here from studio, but stay tuned. More with DP and Jake from Tanner's right now.
Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. November's beers of the month are from Nebraska Brewing Company, Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale, and Avery Brewing. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
At Southeast Community College, we know that winter isn't even here yet, but spring is already on our minds. Registration for the spring 2022 semester is open now. Whether you want to get a head start on a 4-year degree, learn a new trade with a certificate program, or add to your job skills, SCC has a class for you. Spring semester starts January 10th. Learn more about our more than 60 programs of study online at southeast.edu. SCC, your path to possible.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
The workday is long, the bills are due, and sometimes you just need to relax. There's no better way to do that than in your brand new hot spring spa from Bonsall Pool and Spa. With hot tubs as low as $75 per month and interest-free financing, you're sure to find the perfect spa to fit your lifestyle. So get over to Bonsall Pool and Spa today and check out their selection of hot spring spas. Bonsall Pool and Spa, 33rd and High.
Away Broncos Radio Network.
Pre-game on Sunday starts at 10 a.m. Kickoff is at noon right here on your home for Denver Broncos football in Lincoln, Nebraska. 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
One host has a red beard and thinning hair. The other also has a red beard and thinning hair. One host got married over the summer. So did the other one. One is a diehard fan of a sub-500 AL Central baseball team. So is the other. Can these two radio hosts do a show together without getting confused as to their own identity? The same couple. Happer and Schaefer. Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You could celebrate a Nebraska football win with chips or wings and your favorite beverage, but Beatrice Bakery has all sorts of cakes to celebrate all victories this fall. Coffee cake, breakfast bread, artisan cakes, and especially Grandma's fruit cake. No one remembers who brought the chips, but everyone remembers who brought the cake. Make your parties memorable and your Mondays at the office better with cakes from Beatrice Bakery. They ship nationwide. Check out BeatriceBakery.com. Proud sponsors of the Nebraska Shrine Bowl. Welcome to our world of yum.
This is the Ticket postgame with former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman.
Well, Jay Foreman actually said that he's in his will going to be buried with this election.
And it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25. Jay Foreman. Pass deflected. Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Live from Tanner's Bar and Grill is brought to you by Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air and Vinnie Creekack with State Farm Insurance on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ticket post-game live from Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill. He is DP. I am Jake Sorensen. This is brought to you by Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Vinnie Creekack, State Farm Insurance, and Tanner's Bar and Grill. Nebraska 26-17 losers today to Ohio State in Lincoln. DP, Nebraska came in as a 14.5-point dog. If you want to look at positives, they covered that spread, although in a losing effort. As you heard with Bach and Happer during the post-game show for the last hour and a half, just another close but no cigar for Nebraska and a loss today. 26-17, certainly some great things to talk about, some good things we saw today, some things that have hurt Nebraska all season long came back again today, but there were certainly positives, but all in all, a loss for Nebraska today in Lincoln, 26-17 to the Buckeyes.
I loved the reemergence of Samori Toure.
I did too.
It's good to see that happen. There were flashes of Adrian in space using his feet the way we've become accustomed to him doing. Great play by the bigs up front on the defensive line.
Absolutely.
Some engagement with the tight ends, and we thought, maybe this would be a game plan and something they do at high volume, didn't get it. You're right. Some good things, but we still have the same result.
Yep.
And I'm a little concerned about where the fan base is with result-based football. Are you focusing on the results? Do you care about the results, or are you on the side of, well, they're getting better, but just not good enough? I'm open to that discussion.
Yeah, we want to hear from you guys, too. You can text the show, as always, at 402-464-5685. I mean, you're right, DP. It's when all is said and done, it was a loss for Nebraska football. You're now 3-7. You've clinched for sure a not winning season. This is now the 5th straight year of that being the case for Nebraska. They've not had a winning season since 2016 with Mike Riley when they went at 9-4. This team plays with anybody. I mean, they're not scared of the elite competition today. When you watch this game, DP, it didn't feel like a game that Ohio State was far and away the better team, right? Nebraska would trail the whole game, but it was never out of hand. You thought for a second maybe when they had the long touchdown to make it 17-3, you said, okay, here we go. This is where Ohio State pulls away and where they show how good they are. Nebraska, instead, as you mentioned to start, saw the reemergence of Samari Toure, a long touchdown reception to make it back to 17-10, which was the halftime score. Then, the second half, Nebraska gets the ball, doesn't do anything. They kick a field goal, 10-point game, but you still rebounded. You kept coming back. The game was never done until they kicked that field goal with a minute 30 to go to make it 9 points. Nebraska did not play a perfect game, and they still had every chance to win this game until a few minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Well, there's two things in what you said. First of all, you're guaranteed not to go to a bowl game.
Yep.
Right?
That's correct.
So on the list of things that were supposed to be the standard setters, you once again will erase the line and move forward. All right. On the other side of this thing, did you accomplish what you said you needed to accomplish again today? Did you get better at basic things? Were the special teams clean? No. Offensive line, clean?
Absolutely not.
Positive running game?
No, not really.
Tight end usage?
Not enough. They got it to them, but not enough.
Did you take away the core routes that Ohio State runs?
Well, you didn't get beat deep by them. Right.
You didn't get beat deep, so you had to make a concession.
Right.
So you gave away slants and quick routes, which led to one of the great performances against Nebraska in Husker history.
Yes. That was
the 240 yards receiving is almost as good as anybody's ever done against Nebraska. Now, maybe a concession you're willing to make to stay in the game, right? But also let's remember, receiver 1B didn't even play.
That's right. We did not see Garrett Wilson today, did not play with a head injury.
Right? So all of this stuff in play, each person is processing this game the way they want to and need to. What I'll say is if you haven't answered questions, it was just intramural. If you haven't answered questions about who the team is, what their identity is, how they're going to find success, are they meeting standards, then it's intramural football, and that's cool if that's what you want to do. But I'm sure that that's not the case.
Yeah, and here's the thing. For those who watch this game, I think there's going to be some surprise, similar to the Oklahoma game, DP, where Nebraska held their opponent below 30 points. Oklahoma was supposed to be a team that scores in the 40s or 50s. Nebraska held them to 23 points. Today, Ohio State, an offense explosive, even without Garrett Wilson. You thought, hey, probably 30s or 40s. Can you keep up and score that many points? And Nebraska scores 17 and loses by 9. So it was the defense, again, played well enough to win. I know that Smith-Njigba had 15 catches, 240 yards, and a touchdown, but that was really it. Travion Henderson didn't do a lot, 21 for 92, no touchdowns. Chris Olave was held quiet. He had 1 touchdown, didn't kill you. Like, the defense did what you had to do to win the game. It was not on them at all. They played a great football game and kept them below 30 points.
If before the game you say to Husker fans, look, you're going to hold them out of the end zone. It's going to take 4 field goals to beat you from Ohio State. You're going to be in the game in a 1-score game with the ball with under 6 minutes to go. Every Husker fan applauds and says, yes, yes, yes. It's in the final 6 minutes that another consistent thing about this Husker team showed up, which was inability to close. And I've said it again once and a million times. The toughest thing to learn in football is how to win, how to close game, how to finish games. This current program doesn't know how to do that. And that's just another thing. If it was just one thing, nobody would have issue. But it's a bunch of things that are consistently showing up, preventing this team from winning football games. So I would say this. Tell me that you got answers to questions today that you didn't have yesterday.
Well, I'd say I have an answer to one question for sure. Like we said that throughout this week that, the crushing loss to Purdue, a game you thought you would win after a bye week, you go to 3-6. I think it was fair to question, how does this team respond? Do they still fight hard and believe they have a chance to win this game and go to a bowl game? Or do you see a team that is beat down because they keep losing more than they're winning? And you got an answer to that, which was absolutely they're still fighting. This team played a full 4 quarters. They held Ohio State scoreless in the first. It was 0-0 going to the second quarter, which I think surprised most of the nation to see that. So you saw a team absolutely fight to the very end and play a very, a pretty clean game today. The things that you didn't learn about are how do you improve special teams? You still have kicking issues. You missed 2 field goals, one of them which would have made it a 3-point game, one of them earlier on that hurt you in the first half. And this is an issue that has not been resolved this entire season.
Well, the first field goal puts you ahead.
Right.
It changes the entire building. The first drive is one where you can set the tone for the rest of the day, right? And imagine this defense playing with a lead rather than playing from behind, which is another trait that we haven't even discussed. If this defense gets a lead, oh my goodness gracious, that would be fantastic. The second one creates a whole different scenario because it was one that was going to keep you in the game. It makes the last field goal they get, it doesn't make it a deal breaker for you, right? You still get one possession, a chance to go down there. So I would say this. If you feel like you're okay with effort being the measuring stick, intent, desire, want to, cool. But this is a Big Ten football, and this is Nebraska. So if you're okay with 3-7, which is a fact, you're 3-7, and you're staring dead square in the face of Wisconsin and Iowa, one on the road and one on Black Friday.
That's right.
And we know the tendencies. People pay attention to tendencies. You've got 2 more weeks to fix things. And we'll go through this again.
Yeah, we will.
In 2 weeks when they go to Camp Randall.
That's right.
Like, we know that this is going to happen, right? That if they go into Camp Randall and perform at their highest level, we will check some boxes and get some answers. We just haven't been able to check boxes because you can't get the win, and it makes it an incomplete grade.
Let me get your thoughts on this this comment from Chow on the text line. He says, we are wasting a once-in-a-decade defense. The defense is not the 09 level, of course, for that was an elite defense. This is a very good defense this year. But do you agree that Nebraska this season is wasting a pretty solid defensive performance since they've really had this entire season?
Yeah, I mean, this defense has played well enough for this team to have won of the games played, all of them.
Yeah, what? Oh, seriously, all of them, every one of them.
Is there a game that happened where they weren't not only competitive but almost better than they needed to be? But the other side of it's true too, that they also weren't just good enough.
Yep.
Like there were times when they needed to get off the field and they did. There are times when plays need to be made. But there's so much expectation of this defense and Adrian Martinez that both are being asked to do way too much.
That's right.
Way too often for way too long for this team. And that's the problem with the team.
Yep.
Is that you are 3-7 because you're asking too much of folks too often at a time.
I mean, this defense played well enough today to win this football game. But you look at what it would have been like. So Nebraska is trailing by they're trailing by 6 at this point, or they're trailing by 6. Oh, yeah, it was 20-10, whatever it was. I forget what the score was. But Nebraska goes for the field goal in Ohio State territory instead of trying to go for the touchdown or the first down to maybe take the lead in this ball game.
Well, I think the second field goal would have put them within 3.
Right, but if they don't go for the field goal though, if they go for because they had issues kicking the ball. They already
But
missed
what
one
did they
field
have
goal.
in the pocket to get them the first down? That's a 3rd and long, and they were 0 for 3rd down.
Wasn't it like
for 3 quarters?
4 though? 4th and 4.
Well, but they were 0 on 4th down as well. Like those numbers were loud. So the ability to stay on the field and stay in a drive, they did not have a play, something in place that could get that job done. So you took what you thought was a layup. It didn't go that direction. It wasn't fatal because you still had an opportunity to get the ball and get back, and you did. Defense got to stop. You got the ball back, and you just didn't get it done.
So yeah, that drive, it was the beginning of the 4th quarter, DP. Nebraska is trailing at this point by 6. It was 23-17 at that point. And so Nebraska gets all the way down to the Ohio State 13. 3rd and 4, the pass Martinez is floated to Levi Falk. If he throws a dart, is caught for a first down, maybe gets in for a touchdown. And so you got 4th and 4 at the 13. And at this point, I think people expected the Ohio State offense to do something at some point. I mean, they were relying on Smith-Njigba every time. 15 catches. That's all they really had.
Well,
and so that's why I think people are concerned about why are you kicking this field goal if do you believe you're going to stop them 1 or 2 more times and keep them out of the end zone?
Well, you need
which they did. Oh, by the way, you didn't know that though.
Yeah, I mean, all of this is based on you still need to have a way to put points on the board. Like in pre-coach meetings, coaches know how many points they're expected to score that day. I guarantee you that number was not 17. Guaranteed. And if you go 3rd down and 4th down offensively and you go 2 for 13, why would you go 1 for? You've got nothing in the pocket.
Because
you're 2 for 13
the problem,
on 3rd down.
Because you still don't really trust your kicking situation. What do you trust more?
Do you trust the offense?
I didn't trust either, but what do you do?
Do you trust the offense?
Do you take your chance to kick a field goal that might go in and cut it to 3, or do you take your chances and hope your defense, if you don't get the first down, can still stop them?
You had a very minute percent where you could convert on 3rd and 4th down. You were going into that kick, he's 50%. So you go 50-50 and try to take points, get something positive from the play, and then move along. One more stop, and you're in the ballgame. Right? You got a chance to go ahead. I'm okay with the field goal attempt. I'm a little more distraught that they, at this point in game 10, you haven't figured out what you're going to call on 3rd and necessary or 4th and necessary. Ohio State was really good on 3rd and 4th down. That was not the case for the Huskers, and that's been a constant. So, look, this team is constantly who they are. They have been consistent in how they prepare, how they show up, how they play. Some of it's really good. Some of it's really not good. So this is who they are. They're competitive. They're feisty. They're gritty. But there are times when you can't cross the bridge. And they've got to find a way to cross the bridge. And most likely, there are 2 ways to do that. Get a kicker, and then figure out what your offensive identity is. And if you haven't figured those things out in game 10, you're probably not going to figure them out.
So that's what it comes down to. Again, if you're trying to assess this as a Nebraska fan, and more importantly, as Nebraska athletic director, you saw a team today that was very good. They put up a fight. They played a very, very good team on your home field, as they have done all year long, and have not been blown out. They have played close games every game. They've won 3 games in blowout form against Fordham, Buffalo, and Northwestern. They've lost every other game by 9 points or less now.
I'm sorry.
But you're right.
I'm sorry.
But if you're trying to go forward, it's a kicker and a quarterback.
Like, I'm sorry. This is Nebraska, bro. We're talking about being close is okay. Like, come on. That's crazy talk.
You have a lot of fans that are saying
that's
that.
That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. This is Nebraska. Nobody comes here to play close games.
No.
Nobody comes here to almost beat Illinois or whoever. That's not why you come here. You come here to play the big game, and you play here for the opportunity and the expectation that you're going to be competitive and able to beat Ohio State. Period. And if you say otherwise, you're lying and you're disconnected. That's not why you're fans of the program. Look, you can root for the program every single day. You can love them and you can say 7 losses in 10 games is not good enough. Both things are true. You can love them, you can support them, but 7 losses in this point is not good enough. It's just not.
464-5685. Call or text as always on the Ticket postgame show. He's DP. I'm Jake Sorensen live at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Stop on by. Sandwiches today, the $9.99 eggy sandwich and $4 Coors Light 16-ounce aluminum pints today at Tanner's.
We've got, for folks who are listening.
By the way, if you are in the building or if you're around the area and would like to have a chance to win a jersey, we've got 2 jerseys today signed Tommy Frazier and Grant Wistrom. All you got to do is come by Tanner's, put your name in the box, and we will draw for those around 5:55 p.m. today. You got to be here to win it, but both jerseys on the line. Just put your name in it. It's free. There's no cost. We thank you for being here, for showing up in these tough times.
And get here in time to watch the women Huskers volleyball team.
That's right. Show with us here at Tanner's.
Show it up.
You want to take a little dive into some stats here?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
deep dive.
Okay.
Facts are good.
Facts are good. So again, Nebraska falls today, 26-17. You were looking at these stats, and you said a couple things really stood out to you, and not in a good way for Nebraska. What to you, DP, are the obvious ones that were painful to see and ones that need to be addressed ASAP to start winning games?
In a game that you could have won, your kicker missed 2 missable kicks and puts you on a shorter field than if you had punted the ball away. Right?
Yes.
Like you did that. This offense went 2 for 13 on 3rd down. Jake, I wasn't in any of the meetings. I think you could have come up with 2 plays on 13 to get a first down. They were 2 for 13 on first down, going for 3rd downs. Look, when I talk about identity, what do you do in times of chaos? What do you do foundationally that you trust? What do you do that you know that you do best? And what do you do most often? So if you don't have an identity in those situations, you have to dig deep in the bag to come up with something. And that's been the problem for 10 games. You don't have anything you do well offensively. Well enough that when they know what you're doing and it's just fat neck football time or make a play time, you don't have the thing to go to. 2 for 13 on 3rd down is unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable.
Some of the play calls were strange. Some of them, obviously maybe a lineman makes a bad block on pass protection that breaks it down. But there's also sometimes they called some questionable runs on 3rd down. In the first half, you saw Adrian Gimpy. He got hit on a pass play, and then on 3rd and 7, you could see him. It's visible. He's limping out there, and they ran him on 3rd and 7. And he got 1 yard, and you're in Ohio State territory, and you're just thinking, what was that? What play call is that? You can see him visibly gimping out there.
There's a rule in this thing that's coaching that says in tough situations, I need my best player with the ball to make a play. Now, Adrian at 100% is the best offensive player. Adrian at 90%. Still the best offensive player. You need if you're going to run the ball on 3rd down, who's the best runner? It's Adrian. It's Adrian. Ramir Johnson took some hits, took some shots. We did see Yant on the field, never got,
didn't really see him do anything.
Yeah, he was out there a couple of times.
I saw him he almost as a decoy.
Yeah, he was out there. Marquis Step came in late, 4th quarter.
That was odd too.
During pass pro, because Ramiro had taken a shot just before that. So there's some reason and method to why they were doing what they were doing. But the rules of Big Ten football are these. If in a closely contested game, you can't push for yardage on the ground, you will not be successful. Period. Everybody knows it. Scott Frost knows it.
Yep.
Ohio State knew it. And with the pipeline with the reputation that it should have, nobody could move the pile. And it's not new. It's not new. How does Nebraska – look, there was a time when Nebraska just had an assembly line of top-shelf running backs. Just dude after dude after dude after dude.
We were spoiled.
After dude. Heisman Trophy winners and monsters. And now this program is in a place where it does not have a guy who can guarantee you 3 yards in a clutch situation. Some of that's the big dudes up front. Granted, big dudes up front. But how is this program sitting in the middle of the country, in lineman country, and can't find 5 guys to move the pile? How is that possible? See, I'm logical. I'm really, really logical. And none of that makes sense to me. None of it.
It is very frustrating. Nebraska, again, give up 5 sacks this game. Could have been more than that. Adrian did escape a couple of those. Now, he wasn't his normal self until the second half. First half, he wasn't escaping like he was the second half. But you're right. It's frustrating that is a unit that is really continually bringing this team down. You're not seeing a bunch of dropped passes. You saw one drop pass by Xavier Betts deep in the territory.
Manning had a deep one that he got his hands on.
Yeah.
He should have got.
But
he got his hands on a slant, but he took a quick hit as soon as
right.
the ball hit his hands.
Yep, that was tough.
Right,
That's a tough spot to be in.
But those are competitive situations. I'm okay with that. I still, as a receivers coach, look, it hit your hand, man. I don't care if they hit you or not. I don't care if you're being contested or not. I don't care if you're being held. If it hits your hands, it's in the job description. Catch the football. Resistance is coming. Catch the football.
Yep.
So we can continue to make excuses for it, or we can say it wasn't good enough. In Coach Frost's own words in the postgame, it's just not good enough. Okay, so can we accept it, and then let's get to the whys and how you fix it and the wins, like all the other stuff. He said they weren't good enough. Then guess what? I'm gonna accept that, and then I'm gonna look at the whys. We're gonna look at the offensive line. We're gonna look. Shenander schemed his face off today. He really did. You still need plays. They got 2 interceptions today.
Yes, Jojo had a great pick.
They got 2 picks today.
Yeah,
bravo.
Great pick by Miles Farmer too.
They held the vaunted Ohio State offense to
26 points
to 2 touchdowns.
That's
pretty good.
2 touchdowns. That's right.
That's
pretty good.
That's pretty
good,
right? Like
that's really good.
Like so, let's say
phenomenal.
That's look. Everybody that wears Husker colors, if you said before the game, will you be satisfied with holding them 26 points?
Yes.
This whole place would have stood up and given a standing ovation and applauded. So do that.
And I still do.
Do that. Like, do all that. But then you got to ask the question, how you can't play a Big Ten game and only score 17 points and expect or demand to win. You just can't do it.
No, you can't. From the text line, people want your thoughts, DP, on, there was flags called on both teams. It was not just slanting against Nebraska. Ohio State had some holding calls in the second half, but there was an egregious one not called when Adrian was targeting Omar Manning on a 3rd and 10. Even Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson said, how do you not call that? It's pretty egregious, either PI or holding. Your thoughts on that play, and did you think there was any sort of issue with the ref today? Or there's a ref show at one point. A lot of flags were called in the second half.
Oh, so just to let you know, in the first half, there had been 0 penalty calls against Ohio State. But you can't go there because they finished with 8.
Yeah, the second half, there was a lot of
Nebraska
flags.
had 6 penalties against them. Ohio State had 8. Ohio State gave Nebraska opportunities.
They did.
The Huskers had opportunities. They had the ball in their hands and an opportunity to make plays, right? You did the same basic stuff. You get a holding call that knocks you back. You get – look, it's the same stuff. Like, I get that people want to hold on. Hold on. That's cool. But what you're doing isn't good enough. 3-7 is not good enough. Today's play wasn't good enough.
464-5685, call or text as always. Again, we'll take your calls. You can also comment on the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Post your comments up there. From Ellis in Illinois, he says, good Lord, it's pretty obvious. It doesn't matter what talent we bring in or what new quarterback we have. We've seen 4 years of the same crap. Poor game plans, poor play calling, poor in-game situational awareness, poor utilization of players, etc. 4 years of this coaching staff's ineptitude is enough. See, I feel like if you're in the anti-Frost circle today, I feel like you're quieter today because you did play a decent game against them, right? Like if you got blown out,
no,
you think they're more vocal after that game?
Look, I'm not anti-Frost. I'm anti-Huskers losing.
Sure.
People get caught up in the conversation about who you're talking about rather than the what you're talking about. I'm talking about 7 losses in situations where you should not have lost those 7 games. We could have that conversation without mentioning the coach's name. But whoever's in charge of that, whoever's in charge of losing 7 games that you shouldn't lose, needs to be considered. Like, are they doing the job? And Jake, I've asked you this 100 times. What's the top priority of Husker football?
Win.
If that's the top priority, 7 losses says we have a huge problem. Look, you can put lipstick on the pig, but it's a pig. Let's be clear. It's 3-7. It's got lipstick on it. Hey, it's cute, but put a bow on it. It's a 3-7 team that has talent, it has heart, it has moxie, but it doesn't have something. And usually when that happens, the people in charge step up and say, I'll get better for you. And they don't do it in 4 years.
Well, that's why I'm curious. you know,
they don't do it. They take, look, man, I can learn every language in the world 4 years. Come on.
What does this bye week look like at Nebraska? You're 3-7. You've got 2 games to go against Wisconsin, who, by the way, is killing Rutgers 45-3. They're going to have their 5th straight win today. You have an off week next week, then you play Wisconsin, Iowa to end the year. What does this bye week look like for Nebraska and Trev Albert, Scott Frost, Ted Carter, everybody involved here?
We know what it looks like. We've been through it. We just went through it.
Do you expect
we just went through it
this week?
It's a recent movie. Like literally 2 weeks ago, they came off a winnable game. Winnable game. You came off that, and you had 2 weeks to prepare yourself and get yourself over the hump. You didn't. We saw what it looked like. We thought they'd be better prepared. They weren't. Right? We thought we'd get it done. It's the same thing. We've seen it. We know what it looks like. Now, the excuses will be the same. The questions will be the same. We're literally going to spend the next 2 weeks asking the same questions we asked 2 weeks ago. It hasn't changed. It has not changed. Look, everybody wants it better. Now, however you try to get there, let's find the bridge and get over the bridge. But the bridge exists. Michigan State has shown you the bridge exists, right? Cincinnati has shown you the bridge exists. There are programs that have gotten over the hump and went from really bad to really good, and they did it in quick form with purpose and on time. Don't tell me that the university with the blue blood legacy and all the resources and anything you could possibly want to do this can't get over the bridge. It's a lie. Sorry, it's a lie. They should be able to do it. That's what we're talking
about. But still, what do you expect any announcement at all regarding the future of Scott Frost? I mean, the announcement would be he's coming back, if anything.
No,
silence.
Whoa.
Okay. All right.
Wait a minute. What's the losing streak?
They've lost 4 straight games. 4 straight.
So you're telling me that Nebraska football, one of the great programs in college football history, is going to say, hey, after 4 losses, here's some more money.
I don't think they would do that.
Guarantee.
They would not do that. They would say maybe he's coming back.
You're protected. What I've said about this program is that there was no urgency. There was no urgency to win. And by offering an extension after 4 losses and 4 losing seasons.
No one expects that.
Oh, my goodness gracious, my head would explode.
No.
My head would explode.
No one's expecting that to be said about an extension, but there might be the conversation saying we at this point intend to still fulfill the contract of Scott Frost, which would by nature say, hey, he's back for next year, no matter what happens against Wisconsin and Iowa, to help in recruiting matters and to try to build some momentum for early signing day in December. That's why you might make that announcement. But I just don't know. And again, if they don't say that, then that silence is pretty deafening in terms of, okay, these last two games really, really matter in terms of are you back or are you not?
If he's back, okay, good. He's back. He's back. Get to work. Get to work. Get it right. Get it right. But whatever your statement is on Monday is you resetting and redirecting the program. And if you redirect the program Monday by saying all is good, then you're going to get what you have gotten. Like you can't – the program doesn't just improve because you want it to. Everybody wants it to. Everybody wants it to. Some people work for it. Some people figure out, and some people get it done. And then some don't. This program is currently in the box that doesn't. But it has the ability. It has the people. It has the resources. Has the fan base and support. What it needs to do is win.
Before we get to break, a quick update on some scores around the Big Ten. Purdue just scored a touchdown to go back up by 7 on Michigan State, 28-21 with 9:31 to go in the third quarter. How about that story? If Purdue were to beat number 2 Iowa and number 3 Michigan State this year,
it would add more chaos.
Yeah,
but it would be actually what the Big Ten is all about.
Okay, let me ask you: when you saw this score today, DP, when you saw Illinois go on the road to Minnesota and beat them 14-6, running the ball 46 times, passing, I believe, 10 times today, that's what I saw. What went through your head there?
If you can win in the Big Ten without throwing the ball, do so. If you can win in your space, do so.
Well, isn't it incredible that in the first year of Bielema, they're already having a pretty, I'm not saying they're dominant, but the offensive line is already buying into, hey, we're going to beat this team. We're going to run the ball way more than we pass. We're going to make you stop us. And he's learned I can still do bully ball in the Big Ten. I'm going to get more talent here in Illinois, and I've already won 3 conference games now this year.
Yeah.
They beat Penn State, they beat Minnesota, and they beat Nebraska.
I would say this. Coaches that get people to buy in have success. Pretty simple.
Well, they're bought into Illinois.
They're bought in.
They're bought in.
Yeah.
Again, we are out at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill. Stop by. We'll give away about an hour from now. We have 2 signed jerseys by Tommy Frazier and 1 by Grant Wistrom. All you got to do is stop by here at Tanner's, put your name in the box. It is absolutely free. If you are here at 5:55 when we draw, we will give you the jersey. No cost. Take a picture, smile. Thank us for giving it to you. We thank you for showing up here. Again, this show is sponsored by Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Vinnie Creek, Cactus State Farm Insurance, and, of course, Tanner's here at 30th and Yankee Hill. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more next on the Ticket Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're thinking about a new career, improving your job skills, or just continuing your love of lifelong learning, Southeast Community College's Spring Continuing Education Catalog is hitting your mailbox soon. It's chock full of options. Learn how to write a compelling grant application, become a pharmacy tech, or even learn to ride a motorcycle. We even provide the bike. Check out your catalog or go to southeast.edu/continuing education. SCC, your path to possible.
Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. November's beers of the month are from Nebraska Brewing Company, Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale, and Avery Brew. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard, increase security, and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill has food and drink specials every night for all the games. Enjoy jumbo pork tenderloin for $8.99 and 90-cent wings for Monday Night Football, or Comfort Thursday Night Football with chicken fried chicken, steak, or pork for just $9.99 and $20 Coors Light aluminum buckets. Watch college football on Saturdays with an Eggie sandwich for $9.99 and Coors Light specials, and catch NFL Sundays with Bloody Marys and more. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Man, we sure could use an easy win this season. I hear you. That's why I suggested to the wife that we go to Magical Lights of Seward, the area's largest and most entertaining drive-through Christmas light show. So, by suggesting going to Magical Lights of Seward, you got a win? Yeah, my wife said it was the best idea I'd had in a long time. The kids loved the dazzling light show, synced with traditional and modern Christmas music, and we had an affordable, fun family experience. Get your win, too, by pre-ordering your tickets today at magicallightsofseward.com/ticket.
You could celebrate a Nebraska football win with chips or wings and your favorite beverage, but Beatrice Bakery has all sorts of cakes to celebrate all victories this fall. Coffee cake, breakfast bread, artisan cakes, and especially Grandma's fruit cake. No one remembers who brought the chips, but everyone remembers who brought the cake. Make your parties memorable and your Mondays at the office better with cakes from Beatrice Bakery. They ship nationwide. Check out BeatriceBakery.com. Proud sponsors of the Nebraska Shrine Bowl. Welcome to our world of yum.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
At Southeast Community College, we know that winter isn't even here yet, but spring is already on our minds. Registration for the spring 2022 semester is open now. Whether you want to get a head start on a 4-year degree, learn a new trade with a certificate program, or add to your job skills, SCC has a class for you. Spring semester starts January 10th. Learn more about our more than 60 programs of study online at southeast.edu. SCC, your path to possible.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill has food and drink specials every night for all the games. Enjoy jumbo pork tenderloin for $8.99 and 90-cent wings for Monday Night Football, or Comfort Thursday Night Football with chicken fried chicken, steak, or pork for just $9.99 and $20 Coors Light aluminum buckets. Watch college football on Saturdays with an Eggie sandwich for $9.99 and Coors Light specials, and catch NFL Sundays with Bloody Marys and more. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back to the Ticket postgame with Jay Foreman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yeah, listen, again, I've been on the high side around here and the left side around here, and Adrian's been playing with a broken jaw and a high ankle sprain, and I feel good going into bye week saying that because he's past it. But he's showing a lot of grit and toughness. Those two things are obviously going to make you a little bit different player. And I agree with you in the second half. I thought he took off and got us tough yards.
There's Scott Frost in postgame talking about Adrian Martinez. He said he's fighting through a broken jaw and a high ankle sprain. He has been, the broken jaw, of course, happened against Michigan State. Remember that. Logan Smothers came in for a drive. We did not see Adrian for a little bit. He came back in the game in the loss there. The high ankle sprains probably happened against Michigan, I want to say, because he didn't look right against Minnesota and Purdue. Did run the ball better today in the second half. First half did not run the ball, but second half he did. By the way, this is the Ticket postgame show. He's DP. I am Jake Sorensen, live at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill. We are giving away 2 signed jerseys. Tommy Frazier and Grant Wistrom come by here in the next hour. We'll draw about $5.55 for those. They are absolutely free. This show is sponsored by Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, Vinny Creek, Caca, State Farm Insurance, and Tanner's. Hearing that, DP, the quote that Adrian's playing through a broken jaw and a high ankle sprain. How do you respond to, I guess, his poor performance the last 2 weeks, knowing that now?
A couple of things.
Does it change anything for you?
A couple of things. Why did we not hear this when it happened? For transparency,
Scott Frost, does not talk about injuries.
Look, man,
that's his own thing.
But he just did.
Was that just an excuse there? I don't know.
He just did. If there's an exception to the rule, there is no rule. So, okay. But we knew that Adrian was beat up. We know that most of the Huskers are beat up. Most Huskers will go through this bye week and have some major treatment that they have to get through in order to be prepared for Wisconsin. That's not just an Adrian thing. But, again, Adrian's burden is he carries this team offensively. And if he can't, through the words of Scott Frost, guy number 2 is not close to Adrian Martinez. So let's say that 80% Adrian is better than Logan Smothers. So they'll continue to go with it. That's the decision. You still have that decision when it comes to all the other players as well, right?
Would you say he's 80% though? If you have a high ankle sprain and a broken jaw, are you really 80%?
Bro,
what are you? What is your percentage?
I would love for them to tell me.
He didn't play bad today. Adrian was fine. Adrian's stats today for passing against a good defense, 16 of 31, 248, had the one pick at the very end when they're just trying to do something down by 9. 1 touchdown, was sacked 5 times, did find Samari Toure for several long passes. Again, only finding Austin Allen twice, though. You got to get them hit the ball
4 times, Austin Allen twice.
Omar Manning 3, Xavier Betts 2, Vokalek had 3 short ones.
They targeted Betts quite a bit. There was some friction there, but they at least had the targets out there.
You got to get, we say it week after week after week, you have to get Austin Allen the ball more. His 2 catches were great. He had the 26-yarder and the short 7-1, but the 26-yarder was a great play.
I don't understand why that's complicated.
I don't either.
Especially against Ohio State, who did not take it away.
No, they did. He was open.
Right? Their run fit took him out of pass coverage often. So Austin Allen and Vokalek could have gone behind. That's what I would have hoped and thought. But we didn't hear that they were injured, so that wasn't a thing. We did get an answer on Toure, so Toure becomes a big part of the offense again, largely by his own doing.
Right.
Huge yards after catch.
Yes.
But after Lubick saying a week ago that, you know what, we need to get our best receiver the ball more often. So baby steps is what we're doing. That's the lane that we're in.
How can you – it's your 9th – that was your 10th game of the season.
Uh-huh.
Why are we just figuring out again you got to get Toure the ball more? Explain that to me. Why? How is that possible? I mean, they just like go into these games and like lose their sense of awareness and say, "Oh, we have a football game today. Let's try to call plays and forget about our guys who are actually effective and game changers." I don't know how to read these guys because again, the team plays well, but they miss so many opportunities to target your best players.
And they keep putting themselves in tough situations.
Over and over again.
Look, you're never going to be at your highest efficiency if Adrian Martinez is on skates the entire time with a high ankle sprain and a broken jaw. Right? 5 sacks, several pressures that made him rush to throw where if he had had a little more time, he could have made the throw. Look, it's a bunch of little things that keep happening offensively. A lot of it starts up front. The running backs need big guys to protect them. Like, that's just how it's set up. And Ohio State was patient enough defensively to allow Nebraska to go from 20 to 20 and then shoot itself in the foot.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And it's frustrating because we keep trying to have the conversation change. Okay, something has got to change in practice. And that's why I'm curious. I can't speak for the team. I'm not at practice. You're not at practice. Nobody's at practice besides the coach and the players.
Right.
So we don't know if something is changing or not, if they actually are addressing special teams. They say they are. They say there's a competition there. They say they're addressing these other things that have problems, but it does not always look like that when they come to play on Saturdays.
Well, it's very rare that a thing that happens on Saturday has not happened during the week. Like, that's been constant. So what I would expect is they're working on it. Let me get that for you, bro. You sit there struggling.
Thank you.
Execution is the word that coaches use, players use. Everybody understands it. Look, you know the mission, you know the task. You've been taught, you've been trained, you've repped it on high form, right? You shouldn't be asking people to do things on Saturday that they haven't done in high numbers on from Monday to Friday. That being said, no kicker plans on missing. I would imagine that the kicker felt pretty comfortable going into it. Sometimes you'll find reporters on the field before games watching kickers to see what sort of rhythm do they have? Do they look confident? Do they look? And if you get a chance, you'll just, hey, how you feeling? Do you feel good? Special teams, look, that's a struggle. 19 returning yards again. It's tough. It's tough to play when you constantly handcuff yourself.
I want to compliment them in some regard. Special teams has been a problem this year, but I thought that their coverage was good. On those punt returns, Smith-Njigba has a lot of, we saw on the touchdown, he's got a lot of wiggle. He can move. And I thought Nebraska did a very good job in getting down there and covering the punts and allowing nothing on those returns. That's a
great tackles. Bullock
yes.
with a nice play in open
Bullock
field.
had a great play.
Right, great play in open
if
field.
he doesn't make that play, he might be gone.
And let me say this. This may have been the best tackling effort I've seen for Nebraska in the last year and a half. Like, they went at it in open field and made tackles.
Well, Ohio State thrives in yak. They like to pull away and break tackles, as you saw in the one with Njigba.
Yeah, he broke a tackle and got in. But this was their best tackling effort as a whole, right? So I would imagine if you grade out, those numbers are good. But Jake, it's always – I'd love to have Ohio State's playmakers. It would be spectacular to watch.
Well, yeah,
it would be fantastic.
Would your coach use them properly is the question I would ask.
Well, that's funny. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it's a fair question to ask.
Well, if you look through, and I'll scroll through and find the numbers, but it actually has the targets and everything that's in play. And here we go. For everything that was done, Toure was targeted 6 times for 4. Here's the one that jumps out. Omar Manning was targeted 9 times for 3 catches.
9 times.
9? Yeah.
33% efficiency there.
And here's the other part of it, though. He had negative yards after catch.
Oof.
That means you're throwing him in some very difficult situations.
Yep.
And granted,
he wasn't breaking tackles.
Well, but on the long ball, he should have made the play, and that would have opened a whole lot up. Vokalek, 4 targets, 3 catches. Okay. Austin Allen, two targets, 2 catches.
Well, go figure.
Shocker. Ramir Johnson, 2 catches, 2 targets. Xavier Betts, 4 targets, 2 catches. And Oliver Martin, Levi Falk, 4 combined targets, 0 catches. Like, the numbers, it's purposeful to say in these opportunities you make plays. Your playmakers are supposed to help your quarterback, but also in that, some of those were the receivers not being in the right place. Like, there was a big play late in the third quarter, third quarter, where Vokalek sits down and it's zone coverage.
It's third down.
It's zone coverage, and his job is if you're not being chased, if it's man coverage, just sit there.
And Adrian yelled at him. He's like, "Gosh, sit there."
Well, because just find Green and sit down.
Right. Midfield.
But he bled towards the linebacker, and Adrian threw it where he should have been, rather than where he was. That happened several times today.
Yep.
So it is a constant thing that keeps happening. Somewhere in the passing game, there are hiccups. The bridge hasn't been crossed from being efficient and effective as they need to in the Big Ten.
Yeah, like we said all show long, 3-7 is 3-7. 4-game losing streak. Nebraska has a bye week coming up this weekend, and Wisconsin on the road, then Iowa and Lincoln on Black Friday. Does today's performance give you hope that they can win those games? And I think the answer says it doesn't indicate anything, because Nebraska played like today against Michigan. They played a really good team close, and they played a great game, and you thought they would bounce back from that loss. use it as momentum and go beat Minnesota and Purdue, and they came out flat and lost both of those games.
Yeah,
so it means I can't take anything away because they don't prove that they build on games.
Well, I look at it this way, that they have opportunity. The question is whether you make small adjustments to get big results. Small adjustment, big results. Defensively, they did some things differently because they put Quentin Newsom out on an island, right? They trusted him to handle business. He had 7 solo tackles, 3 assists for 10 total. Luke Reimer had 6, 4, and 10. JoJo Doman with 6, 3, and 9. Nick Henrich 3, 5, and 8, and then Miles Farmer with 5, 2, and 7. You put a lot of pressure on your playmakers in the backside. They had a pretty good Saturday afternoon. 2 big plays hurt you in this thing, and then being on the field for 33 minutes. Once again, if you're constantly plus 30 on the field defensively, it wears you out. Credit to the defense. They didn't bail. They didn't quit. Like, they didn't see the rotation was good. They got the secondary players on the field, but it just you held Ohio State to 26 points. That should have been enough.
Looking around the country in the Big Ten, seeing some scores. Purdue leads by 10 DP over Michigan State in West Lafayette. They're looking at a potential catch by Purdue in Wisconsin territory to see if it's a first down. Penn State, I believe, still up 14-6 on Maryland.
14-6.
And how about the route in Piscataway? Not good for Rutgers. They trail at home 52-3 to Wisconsin. Wisconsin's about to win their 5th straight game, and it looks like they might be, after Minnesota's lost today, Wisconsin's got big old smiles in their face saying, oh, you counted us dead after our 2 early losses in conference play. Guess what? We're going to win the division, and we're going to push Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Who's laughing now?
But this is the problem. That's not a great football team.
I know. That's why
it's not a great football
team. It's depressing that Nebraska's 1-6 in conference play when they think they have a good chance of competing with them in 2 weeks.
And then the Huskers will have every opportunity to go to Camp Randall and ruin the party.
Yep.
Right?
And they'll find a way.
We right? We'll buy in.
Yep.
They're going to play well.
It's going to be a fourth quarter game.
Right? And then something will happen, hiccup, and it'll be what it's going to be. Wisconsin will come in with tons of attitude and confidence. But would you be surprised if this team beats Wisconsin at Camp Randall?
I would not. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Because they can beat anybody. They've proven that nobody. I mean, Bama would probably kick their butt. Obviously, Georgia would too. But other than that, this is the 5th ranked team in the country today. The 8th ranked team in the country you barely lost to on their home field. Number 3, who's, if they lose, will not be number 3 anymore today to Purdue. You should have beat them.
It's the barely lost thing. It's the barely lost thing.
That's why this is so weird, though.
You either won or lost.
But you've seen previous Nebraska teams in the years past, they got walloped by teams. Like the Mike Riley era, the last year of that,
but
it was obvious it was over.
But they beat
They did win 4 games, but they also got boat raced by a very, very poor Minnesota team that year.
Iowa we can say that about this current team. We can say that about the current team. The results you're getting
now not get boat raced by anybody.
How many times has the current administration won 9 games or 10 games?
None.
Okay. That part.
I know.
That part.
But for the people out there that want to defend what's going on here and say it's fine, we have seen it go very, very south here in years past. It is very obvious when the team is done, the staff is done. That's not the case right now. And that's why it's very confusing. You have every reason to say it's about wins and losses because it is. But there's a lot of people that say they look fine, they're not getting their butts kicked, and that's why they're okay with what's happening here.
And they can be fine with that. They can be fine with that. But that's not why we're here. We talk about the facts. And the facts, my opinion on the coaching staff means nothing.
Okay.
But talking about the facts are where you are in the conference, how you got there, and then what's next. It's not my job to talk about who should have the job or not. You're 3-7. What's next?
Shane wants to know, okay, so we said we would not be surprised if Nebraska won in Camp Randall. Would you be surprised if they got boat raced in Camp Randall?
No, I said this in week 3 that I wouldn't be surprised if this team won all the rest of its games or lost the rest of its game. That remains true. That remains true to this day. That because I don't know their identity, I don't know what to expect. Like you can go through and say, I expect something different than what you've seen. No, what I would say is I expect this team to play exactly as they played. They will be competitive. They'll fight their tails off. And at some point in the game, it'll come down to a big play. And the question is whether it's made or not.
DP, if I had told you coming into today that I knew the box score for the game and how it went, if I told you Ohio State was going to run 30 times for 90 yards, an average of 3 yards a carry, what would you have said to me?
That's exactly what Nebraska's defense has done. It's been consistent. It's done it all year. It did it with the guy that's the leading Heisman Trophy candidate, right?
Yes.
They shut him down. We went through 4 different teams in the Big Ten that all had top-level rushers, and they were all shut down. When Fordham and Buffalo came in here with their runners, a guy that had put up 200 yards, nothing. That's what we would expect. So am I surprised by that? No, not at all. I'm actually impressed by it. I'm impressed by the way they defended today. But in order to defend the run game that way, you've got to concede something, and you conceded, and you gave up 240 yards to the same receiver.
Faisal says this, the text line. At this point, I would be very surprised if they beat Wisconsin. They haven't shown the ability to beat any team with a pulse this year.
That's true, too.
They can hang with the teams with the pulse, but they just can't win.
Yeah, no, they will be competitive. They will do some things well. And then I would say that nobody really knows what to expect. Like this is as fans, we're sitting here waiting to see what the next chapter will be. And each week, like a really good soap opera, we don't know. And then we're left hanging for another week to find out what happened next. Yep. Simply put.
We have a full house here at Tanner's. If you are in the building and you would like a chance to win a free jersey, a signed jersey by either Tommy Frazier or Grant Wistrom, you just got to come up to the front here, put your name in the box. It's absolutely free. No strings attached. You just take home a jersey at $5.55. You have a big smile, and you're on your way. So come on by. If you're listening in the area, if you're close by, and say, hey, I could do that.
30 minutes? 30 minutes.
In a half hour from now, we're giving away a free jersey. 2 jerseys.
Yeah.
Stop on in for a half hour. We got volleyball tonight as well. You can stick around here. People
really cool jerseys,
That's
Jay.
right. People are getting
Come on, Hall of Famers, bro.
It's Tommy Frazier and Grant Wistrom. Of course it's very cool.
Hall of Famers. Come on.
I want those jerseys. I'm not allowed to win them, though.
Come on. Well,
not allowed.
Well, if you put it under Sake Jorgensen.
Sake Jorgensen.
Put it under Sake Jorgensen,
Yes,
and then you got a
Sake
shot.
Jorgensen will win this
There
one.
we go.
Again, we are live at Tanner's, 30th Yankee Hill. Stop on by for the ticket post-game show. We got about 40 minutes to go here. Again, we're going to draw for those jerseys in about 35 minutes. This is sponsored by Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, serving Lincoln and Southeast Nebraska for over 50 years. Visit their website at actionlincoln.com. Vinny Creek, Cactus State Farm Insurance. For any questions about insurance for auto, home, property, business, life, or health, call Vinny at 402-474-1173. And again, today at Tanner's, the specials are the $9.99 Eggie sandwich and $4 Coors Light 16-ounce aluminum pints. We'll take a quick break. We'll have more next from Tanner's on the Ticket postgame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill has food and drink specials every night for all the games. Enjoy jumbo pork tenderloin for $8.99 and 90-cent wings for Monday Night Football, or come for Thursday Night Football with chicken fried chicken, steak, or pork for just $9.99 and $20 Coors Light aluminum buckets. Watch college football on Saturdays with an Eggie sandwich for $9.99 and Coors Light specials, and catch NFL Sundays with Bloody Marys and more. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Hey, sports fans, Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Parents, if you've been waiting for FDA approval to get your teen vaccinated, the time is now. The FDA has approved the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for use in preventing COVID-19. While this is the first vaccine to gain FDA approval, all COVID-19 vaccines have been proven to be effective against the coronavirus. Want to reduce your teen's risk of hospitalization while protecting yourself and your community? Get your teen vaccinated today. Visit vaccinate.ne.gov to get started.
State Farm, this is Bill.
It finally got me, Bill.
What's that, Rick?
The Clark Street crater, the mother of all potholes.
Oh.
Year after rim-wrecking year, it's tormented the people of this town. It got me good.
But you know, State Farm's got you too.
You hear that? You ain't nothing.
You trash talking a pothole?
Yes, I am.
Go with the one that's here to help life go right. State Farm.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Man, we sure could use an easy win this season.
I hear you. That's why I suggested to the wife that we go to Magical Lights of Seward, the area's largest and most entertaining drive-through Christmas light show.
So, by suggesting going to Magical Lights of Seward, you got a win?
Yeah, my wife said it was the best idea I'd had in a long time. The kids loved the dazzling light show, synced with traditional and modern Christmas music, and we had an affordable, fun family experience.
Get your win, too, by pre-ordering your tickets today at magicallightsofseward.com/ticket.
Tom and Bach.
Nebraska, they have a 17% chance to beat Ohio State.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. All those computer models are predictors. I don't know where they get them. It's just some guy that they asked down the hallway. Hey, Sam, how much of a chance does Nebraska have to win this week? 17%.
I think they just dust off the old BCS computer and reboot it. See what kind of numbers it spits out.
Yeah, it's not doing anything.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is your go-to service call in Lincoln and Southeast Nebraska for expertise, convenience, and reliability. As your home and business needs expand, so do the services Action can deliver. Now positioned as Southeast Nebraska's premier installer of charging stations for electronic vehicles, they're always committed to a job done right. Give them a call or visit their website at actionlincoln.com. Action, your proud sponsor of the Ticket Postgame Show. Another packed fall sports season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. November's beers of the month are from Nebraska Brewing Company, Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale, and Avery Brewing. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage stop at 1801 O Street.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
You could celebrate a Nebraska football win with chips or wings and your favorite beverage, but Beatrice Bakery has all sorts of cakes to celebrate all victories this fall. Coffee cake, breakfast bread, artisan cakes, and especially Grandma's fruit cake. No one remembers who brought the chips, but everyone remembers who brought the cake. Make your parties memorable and your Mondays at the office better with cakes from Beatrice Bakery. They ship nationwide. Check out BeatriceBakery.com, proud sponsors of the Nebraska Shrine Bowl. Welcome to our world of yum.
Back to the Ticket Postgame with Jay Foreman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yeah. Again, I made a decision in the first half on a 3rd and 7 or 8 to try to run the ball to put ourselves in a position where I go for it on 4th down. And earlier in that drive we had, that was a 3rd and 5, and we had a play call that we liked. It worked. We didn't convert. Yeah, those are decisions when something doesn't work, you question it. If we complete the ball and he walks in the end zone, you're happy.
You got a guy open on 3rd down. Why not trust your offense to make another play?
Well, I was also trusting my defense at that point.
That's Scott Frost in postgame. He was asked about does your decision-making on 4th down change when you are playing a quality opponent, big-time opponent like Ohio State? He says kind of, a little bit there. This is the Ticket Postgame Show. He's DP. I'm Jake Sorensen. We're live at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill. We're here for about a half hour longer, giving away a jersey in right about a half hour from now. 2 jerseys, Tommy Frazier and Grant Wistrom signed jerseys. Just got to be here in attendance when we draw those. And if you win it, you can take it home for absolutely free. DP, your thoughts? I'm glad that question was asked by whoever asked it, but do you expect, if it's fourth down, this goes back to that field goal that Nebraska missed by Contreras, would have made a 3-point game instead of going for it in 4th and 4. Does your play calling change this instant versus Ohio State versus an Illinois, say, or something like that?
No.
Okay.
No. That's the identity part.
Yeah.
That's the identity part. Think of Alabama with Derrick Henry.
Good luck stopping him.
Think about this Nebraska team over the years. They had runners with Ahman Green. You don't have to be cute. You can simply line up and put your hat on somebody, get your hands on somebody, and get into space. But that's not the identity and the personality of this team. And that's fine because this team's go-to is an Adrian Martinez with a broken jaw and a high ankle sprain against the best team in the Big Ten Conference. So whatever you called, one, you should have confidence in because you've practiced it at least a lot. The timing is at least right. Like the formation is right. The foundation is right. Then there's that word again, execution. And this team has to learn how to make the big, important plays when they come up. It's just been too often where during those critical moments, they have not made plays. And it's been consistent. It's been consistent. Look, 3rd and 5, I've got a 6'8", 8.5 tight end.
I know who I'm throwing it to. Make me stop.
But if I've got a guy with 150 yards receiving because he's got yards after catch skills today, then get him the ball quickly and have him make a play. They know their team. They called what they thought would work. It just, as a lot of things have been the case, didn't work.
I just saw a stat. This is not Nebraska-related, DP, but I'm pretty sure I saw this. Give me your thoughts on this. This is about Purdue for a second, right?
Uh-huh.
I just saw a stat in the Purdue-Michigan State game. It showed a graphic that Purdue has the most wins all time as a program against top 5 teams. 16. That's the most wins in college football against top 5 teams. Yeah.
That can't be right.
Against top 5 teams.
But that means like the top 5 teams versus top 5 teams.
How often do those guys play, though?
Quite a bit. If you're in the Big Ten, they're like every year, Michigan and Ohio State.
I'm pretty sure that's what the stats said.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Okay. All right. Good for them.
And they might get a 17th here because they're up by 13, 34-21 in the 4th quarter against Michigan State.
That's bananas.
In West Lafayette.
That's bananas. Yeah, look, there was a stretch where Purdue had really good quarterbacks. Jeff Brom's there now doing what Jeff Brom does, puts them in a position where they can win. I like coaches who coach team not to make mistakes. Like that is a controllable. Don't take risk. Know your players well enough to know what they're going to do in tough situation, down and distance.
Okay. Sorry. Let me correct that.
Okay.
Let me correct.
Okay.
Purdue has 16 wins versus top 5 teams while they are unranked, which is the most in the country.
There you go. There you go. That's what I thought.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Think about that. They've won 16 times against top 5 teams as they are an unranked team. That's amazing.
But that also that could mean they're underachieving.
That's true.
That means they look. I think they're underachieving. If you can beat the bigs, you should beat the bigs all the time.
Also, when they beat Iowa, Purdue moved to 6-10 all time versus the number 2 team in the country. How about that?
Get your
That's
work.
Incredible.
Get your work, Boilermakers.
Incredible.
Get your work, Boilermakers. Get your work in, man. That's fantastic.
Amazing.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
All right, no, I got that corrected. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to freak you out there.
No, that's
most
fine.
wins as an unranked team against top 5 teams for Purdue.
Okay, so
yeah.
Let me give you this one from Scott Frost in the Post. On potentially using Logan Smothers as a runner, Logan has come along. I've got a ton of confidence in him right now. You're crazy if you don't think I'm playing the guy that gives us the best chance to win. Just know you're taking a good player off the field to do that. And we've talked about all these things, but I'm disappointed. I hate losing more than anybody in that locker room, but I just love being the coach here. I love these kids. They've battled through a lot, and this is going to pop at Nebraska. It just is.
It's going to pop.
It just is. It just
I
is.
just like we have had this conversation so many times that it gives me a migraine. But until they do it, it's a fair question to ask. What indicates they're going to magically get over the hump and stay over the hump in winning close games? Right now, they have a lack of a clutch gene. That's just the way it is. And I don't know how that just changes. It doesn't just change because you snap your fingers. They have a problem finishing games. And I don't think one time doing it resolves the issues going forward of making that just, we finally did it. Now we're going to be a good team in close games.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a record and a history of not finishing games.
That's right.
Much longer than one. Much longer than one. Games that they were in, games that they – matter of fact, some of those games they had a lead.
Yes.
So to be able to say that –
Michigan State.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Look, I just think that people – I understand hope. I understand believing in the program and rooting for the program. But we currently cannot say those things about it. And I'm the same way. I love the basketball program, but they won 7 games. So you say they won 7 games. Right? They won 7 games. That's what that was. And you can go out. And there's nothing, but the other side of it, there's nothing wrong that a win won't cure. But it's been 5 weeks since the last win. So the cure has been few and far between. They've got to figure out how to beat somebody, and they got 2 chances left.
Nick tells me he has a good quote from Scott Frost on special teams. Of course, we know that was a problem today. 2 missed field goals, just not getting it done there. Nick, go ahead and play the comment that Scott Frost had today after the game about Nebraska's special teams play.
Yeah, again, you'll never get me to run down any one kid. I never do that. These are my guys. I love them. But it isn't special teams right now. It's specialists, and that's been kind of the issue for a while.
Okay, he says it's not special teams, DP. It's specialists there. You had a 13-yard punt by William Pristop. He was fine other than that punt. I mean, that was a shanked punt. Other than that, I thought he was fine today punting, but that was bad. They scored that drive.
What does that even mean?
Are
you just saying that you're blaming the returner, the punter, and the kicker? Because those are the names that we know.
When he says specialists.
We can see their failures, but no, we know who they are. We know what you're talking about. That's fine. But the special teams, like they had a good tackling day. Give them credit for that.
Yes, the Bullock tackle was great.
Great tackling day.
It was.
But points come from making field goals. And you were 1 for 3. Whoever was out there was 1 for 3. Didn't go well, and it puts you in a really difficult position, and it may have cost you an opportunity to beat a highly ranked Ohio State team. Like that's fact.
I did. I think you did.
So, appreciate it. Appreciate it. There's some quotes coming out. Adrian Martinez on his decision to play despite multiple injuries. Thank you. Please do.
Play that, Nick. We get the chance.
Yeah. Some more information I'm sure will be disclosed after the season, and I'll go more in depth there, but really it was a tough choice and one I wanted to make for my teammates and wanted to do for our team. Simple as that, and continue to fight and lead the guys. It's really as simple as that for me.
All right. There's Adrian Martinez post game.
He went further. He says, they didn't know what it was like for me. But it really was as simple as that. All right, let's go. Let's play. My face was numb and swollen. Finished the game. After the game, a couple of days later, found out what it was, and then the decision to come and play was made about a day later.
Do you question, why would you keep a broken jaw silent to the media or silent to anybody? He was able to talk. I know he probably had rubber bands in there, but he was able to talk.
Well, no, it made it difficult to call plays.
Oh, okay.
I noticed that the week that the injury happened because you could see on the close-up cameras, you could see the rubber bands. So I knew.
Get a wire's mouth.
Well, no, you had like that. That's just to protect it more than anything else. But you see that, right? Like you know that it's an issue. Transparency from the program head, to me, it's a non-negotiable. Like, tell people, we're not asking you to throw the kid under the bus, but be honest with us. And to allow the fan base to go about discussing this young man in sometimes horrible terms, not knowing that this guy is being a gladiator for you, it's kind of a bad look. Tell the folks, look, man, our best player is beat up.
Right.
He's got a broken jaw, and he's going to battle for you anyway.
And Shane, to that point, the text line says, why does Scott Frost treat every injury and practice like it's hiding government secrets? Just let us know, man. You're 3-6. It's fine.
Well, like we're not talking about betting. We're not talking about any of that. We're just trying to figure out whether the young man's healthy or not. And we know that they're beat up. But anyway, you still got to figure out how to win. They made the decision to go with Adrian and let Adrian play it through. Smothers is not ready. But that's a thing that has to be fixed and addressed because you're 3 weeks away now from the end of the season. You're not going to get a bowl game, so you're not going to get extra time for Logan Smothers to get the extra, holiday work at practice. It's not going to happen. Same for Harburg. Same for Masker. Like, you can't go through this stuff again. So what do? You're in a worse situation because you're not sure what you're going to do with Adrian Martinez. You don't know what Adrian's going to do or wants to do. And then you'll drop it on in. You're going to go, oh, hey, transfer portal. We're going to go shopping, window shopping, and we're going to try to find us a quarterback. Good luck. Good luck.
By the way, quick update on Purdue, Michigan State. Michigan State is down by 13. They were going for it deep in the red zone in Purdue territory. It was 4th and 4. The ball was picked off. There's a flag. But if Purdue gets this back, you would think this is probably going to be a win for the Boilermakers.
This is a huge upset. This is a huge upset. This changes the entire game. The entire season was falling on this thing.
We are at Tanner's Bar and Grill for the Ticket postgame show. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. People on the air. We're talking about Husker football. They lost today to Ohio State, 26-17. Volleyball is coming up here in about 20 minutes. And by the way, if you are in the building, you want a chance to win a signed Tommy Frazier jersey or a signed Grant Wistrom jersey. We have a box for you to put your name in there. You got to be here when we draw.
Yep, you got about 10 minutes. Got about 10 minutes.
Yes, and by the way, the show is sponsored by Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Every now and then.
Benny Creek State Farm Insurance.
Every now and then you get one, bro.
Yeah, you're not sure how to react on the time.
Every now you get
That's
one.
why we're out in location. You never know what takes
From the Sartor Hammond text line, Gene says, "Sup and come on, DP. What's up, Gene? If any team we play knows Adrian has a broken jaw, tell me they're not going to do something with that information." The opposing teams know. The opposing teams know. One, because Adrian, in trying to call plays, can't call plays. He couldn't call plays for 2 of those weeks. I mean, he would shout, but they had it restricted. And if I saw the rubber bands, they saw the rubber bands. But also, that information was already out there. So that's how that works. Plus, they knew about the ankle injury going into today's game. They knew. And Adrian has to protect himself, and his bigs have to protect him as well. That's kind of how this works. We understand the injuries. Most people out there have an injury of some sort. So you expect, one, the players will respect the game. If somebody tries to get a cheap shot, they'll pay. But everybody knew Adrian was banged up. And they're not certainly going to take it easy on him. Injured or not, they're not going to take it easy on Adrian Martinez.
It was strange, DP, and maybe you think differently, but I thought it was pretty obvious in the first half Adrian was banged up. All of a sudden, the second half, he's running fine. Was there a cortisone shot at halftime? Something happened that he was a different dude. He was running the ball.
Well, it could
didn't look banged up at all.
Well, but with the high ankle sprain, that's not a
rapid.
Yeah, that's retaping, maybe changing shoes. I know that a couple of times he was trying to adjust the shoe during the game as well. He went through there a couple of things. He talked about looking back on plays. You can't expect referee calls. You just have to play the game and roll the calls. If they're awesome, cool. If not, whatever. Let's rock. I mean, it's a part of football. So he understands this thing that goes on. Also, on making the decision to continue to fight despite not being eligible for the postseason. It was tough, really tough. I mean, incredibly tough. My 4th year here, in the past 3 years, we haven't made postseason plays. Well, it hurts. And knowing it's not just me, it puts things on the line here. People who put themselves up physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever. It's our program. There's tons of guys sacrificing. I'm just one of those guys, and it's not easy swallowing that result. but we do have 2 more games that we're looking forward to, trophy games that we're going to go attack. We have no other option. Refocus, redirect, hit the GPS, and figure out what you're going to play for. Knowing what you're going to play for makes all of this a little bit easier to do.
All right, we have one more.
You're so funny.
I'm seeing people putting their names on Keno slips. I'm curious, if we lose our slips, where'd they go? Somebody stole the slips, apparently. I'm saying I keep seeing a bunch of Keno slips going. There are slips somewhere. Somebody stole the slips. There's a huge amount of them. So
that's amazing.
If you have the slips, bring them back. I know.
That's amazing.
That's why I have this weird face. I keep watching people put their names in these boxes.
That is gangster.
There's the slips right
there.
there.
No, the guy
He's got the slips. He's got the slips right there.
Oh, that is gangster.
I was just saying,
that is such a gangster
keep
move.
putting Keno slips in the box?
Oh, man. So we're going to look.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Let's throw the break. Give people a chance to get signed up.
If you are in the building, we're going to draw after the break. We're giving away a signed Tommy Frazier jersey and a signed Grant Wistrom jersey. 2 different people will get those. It's free. There's no cost, no strings attached. Put your name in the box. We'll draw in about 5-6 minutes from now, and we'll give you your prize. We are at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill, for the Ticket Postgame Show. We'll wrap things up next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is your go-to service call in Lincoln and Southeast Nebraska for expertise, convenience, and reliability. As your home and business needs expand, so do the services Action can deliver. Now positioned as Southeast Nebraska's premier installer of charging stations for electronic vehicles, they're always committed to a job done right. Give them a call or visit their website at actionlincoln.com. Action, your proud sponsor of the Ticket Postgame Show.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
The worst of times can bring out the best in each of us. Doctors, nurses, and frontline workers have labored selflessly to keep us safe during the health crisis of our lifetime. How do we thank these heroes? It's simple. Get your COVID vaccine so we can end this pandemic. Variants are on the rise, and we don't want to put these heroes through another health crisis. They have given their all. Now it's up to you. Please do your part. For you, for them, for us.
This message sponsored by the Helmsley Charitable Trust, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill has food and drink specials every night for all the games. Enjoy jumbo pork tenderloin for $8.99 and 90-cent wings for Monday Night Football, or come for Thursday Night Football with chicken fried chicken, steak, or pork for just $9.99 and $20 Coors Light aluminum buckets. Watch college football on Saturdays with an Aggie sandwich for $9.99 and Coors Light specials, and catch NFL Sundays with Bloody Marys and more. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. There's a lot of CBD shops opening up in Lincoln, but Trek CBD focuses on quality above all else. Their products are from local CBD company Nico Farms and are third-party laboratory tested. They have products that can help with stress, anxiety, pain, relief, and more, and have a wide selection of Delta 8, including Serene 8. Trek CBD is locally owned and operated. Go visit Scott or Shannon at their 84th and Highway 2 location, or at 27th and S, or go online to Trek CBD with free delivery. Trek CBD. CBD done right.
Man, we sure could use an easy win this season. I hear you. That's why I suggested to the wife that we go to Magical Lights of Seward, the area's largest and most entertaining drive-through Christmas light show. So, by suggesting going to Magical Lights of Seward, you got a win? Yeah, my wife said it was the best idea I'd had in a long time. The kids loved the dazzling light show, synced with traditional and modern Christmas music, and we had an affordable, fun family experience. Get your win, too, by pre-ordering your tickets today at magicallightsofseward.com/ticket.
Welcome back, Husker fans. Eustace Body Shop is happy to welcome the best fans in college football back to Lincoln. With gold-class certified service, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop can call the right plays to keep you in the game. Whether it's in Lincoln at 88th and Highway 2 or at any of our other 5 locations across Nebraska, Eustace Body Shop can help get you back on the road. Go Big Red.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop.
That's who we are.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
You could celebrate a Nebraska football win with chips or wings and your favorite beverage, but Beatrice Bakery has all sorts of cakes to celebrate all victories this fall. Coffee cake, breakfast bread, artisan cakes, and especially Grandma's fruit cake. No one remembers who brought the chips, but everyone remembers who brought the cake. Make your parties memorable and your Mondays at the office better with cakes from Beatrice Bakery. They ship nationwide. Check out BeatriceBakery.com. Proud sponsors of the Nebraska Shrine Bowl. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill has food and drink specials every night for all the games. Enjoy jumbo pork tenderloin for $8.99 and 90-cent wings for Monday Night Football, or comfort Thursday Night Football with chicken fried chicken, steak, or pork for just $9.99 and $20 Coors Light aluminum buckets. Watch college football on Saturdays with an Aggie sandwich for $9.99 and Coors Light specials, and catch NFL Sundays with Bloody Marys and more. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Back to the Ticket postgame with Jay Foreman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment of the Ticket postgame show, live at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill, sponsored by Action Plumbing, Heating and Air Conditioning, Vinny Creekhack, State Farm Insurance, and of course Tanner's. He is DP. I am Jake Sorensen, just a few minutes away from Nebraska volleyball as well, playing tonight. Also, you had a busy day in Lincoln. Not just football, you had high school state volleyball all day long. It's a busy day for Lincoln, Nebraska.
Well done.
Well done indeed.
Well done.
We're going to draw here in about a minute or two. So if you're in the building, you don't have your name in the box, just put it in there.
Put your name in the box.
Drawing
Put
for
your
Tommy
name.
Frazier and Grant Wistrom signed jerseys here in the packed house at Tanner's. Appreciate you all being here tonight.
It is a packed house.
It is a
man.
packed
well
house.
done.
Quick update one more time because this is the game. This is the game of the week in the Big Ten. Purdue is they did not score a touchdown, but they are about to score up by 13. David Bell has how many yards, DP?
217, and then he might have got two more on the throw just now.
217.
Right at 217.
Do you know how good that guy is? Iowa knew what they were going to do and couldn't stop him. Michigan State knew what they were going to do and could not stop David Bell.
Look, it's
Nebraska didn't really stop him either.
Maybe he's really good.
Maybe
you're right, Jake. Maybe he's really good.
Who they're throwing to.
Maybe
like when they had
he's-
Rondale and him, okay, you have an excuse because Rondale's get double covered. It's just him and Payne Durham.
And they still can't get it. They still can't cover.
I mean, they got Anthrop was doing underneath routes and he's fine, but he's nothing scary.
What a year, though. So Wake Forest takes its first loss today. Michigan State will take its first loss. Michigan State will take its first loss today. Okay, let's shake things up a little.
Yeah,
let's shake things
By
up.
the way, I saw something crazy today. What world, DP? Today, we're living in a world today that I saw students. I saw a full stadium at North Carolina rushing the field because they beat Wake Forest. Imagine that. Imagine
I've
any
been
year
in
in the
that
past
space.
where Wake Forest beating them insinuates the full stadium rushing the field.
I've been to those games, and Wake Forest thinks of North Carolina as a rival, but up until this year, North Carolina has not.
So why do you storm the field against it then?
Because they were undefeated, and you've ruined their season.
That's no reason to storm the
You've
field.
ruined their season. You've ruined their season. If you ruin somebody's season, celebrate. That's how they get down.
I just thought it was strange. I mean, I know they're a top 10 team, but I thought it was strange to see.
And it's an in-state rival, and it's a come up. So yeah.
You stormed the field when you beat Clemson, not when you beat Wake Forest.
No, I mean they would. If North Carolina State was undefeated and they lost at Chapel Hill, they'd storm the field. If it was Duke and they were undefeated and they lost it,
I'm just saying. Yep. I've watched a lot of not as many years as you have, but I've watched a lot of college football. It's just the thought that Wake Forest is a stormable team.
Well, I mean, look, they were top 10 in the country.
I know, it's
They're
still
top 10
odd.
in the country.
It's still weird to me.
It's weird, but you know what? I'd take 7-1. I'd take 8-1.
I take a lot of things right now.
Yeah,
versus 3 and 7.
That's what it is. And think about, if you're Carolina, how many times have you watched people storm the courts in basketball against you?
Yeah, but basketball is different. It should take a lot to storm a football
It's
field.
the same student body. That's all that is.
But you have 90,000 versus like 12,000 in basketball.
Let them folks handle their business, man.
I suppose.
Let's get these out.
I'm going to get the box.
All right, Jake will
turn
get
this
the
up.
box and he'll turn it up. So for the folks in the room, and Nick, if we get too close, let me know. We'll do the other one after. Jake's going to shake this up. If your name is called, hurry up. Hurry up. First one we'll give away is the Wistrom jersey. The Wistrom jersey. Louis Sikic. There you go, bro. Well done, bro. So there's the Wistrom, and then now we'll give away the signed Tommy Frazier. Some of these feel different, and I don't know why. Gildo, is that you, bro? Get over here. Right, well done. How do you say your last name? Santista. Well done. I was trying to wait a minute. Well done.
All right.
Good deal.
Making happy fans out there.
Good deal,
today.
man. Made a couple folks smile. So, Jake, how's your week going to go?
Well, I'm a Dolphins fan, DP. So tomorrow, if the Texans beat us, I'd say fire the whole staff immediately.
Yep.
And someone says, who's the interim coach? They don't need a coach at that point.
Don't care.
It's terrible. It's
Okay,
over.
just show up and let whoever's playing quarterback call plays.
So that's the week. The bye week always, again, gives fans and listeners a chance to recharge again, and the players and the coaches, and go into the week knowing you can't lose this weekend. And hopefully come back and beat Wisconsin and Iowa.
Look, man, let me say, for the folks in the room, thank you for spending time with us, allowing us to bounce through your evening. Greatly appreciate it. It's always tough to show up after a tough day, but you guys showed up. You're hanging out. I hope you guys have a fantastic Saturday evening and a great weekend. Jake, well done, kind sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our sponsors, Action Plumbing, Heating, Air Conditioning, Vinny Creek, Cack State Farm Insurance, and Tanners. For DP, I am Jake Sorensen. We will talk to you in 2 weeks. Tanners. Bye-bye.